Hello everyone, into our second day of Best of Fives here in LPL, and I have to say, today I'm really excited for because we finally get to see if LNG are all they're cracked up to be as well. I think 1xN and the gang are looking genuinely pretty scary from what we've seen even in the lowest group of LPL, and I think that TT could be in danger here, despite the fact that they're technically coming from the high group.
请到了 TT 的打野选手君豪进行我们前采，来向大家打个招呼吧。
大家好，我是第一打野君豪。
好，欢迎君豪啊。那第一个问题呢，也是想问到，其实之前小组赛呢，成绩虽然不太理想，但是今天来到骑士之路，也是一个全新的开始。那整体队员们是以一个什么样的心态来去面对这场比赛？
就是吸取之前输比赛的经验嘛，然后争取在今天比赛打好一点。
哎，希望能比之前打得更好就可以了。那第二个问题也想问到，今天面对苏州 LNG， 你觉得在比赛的内容上有什么方面要多加注意一些？
在对线上跟他们的野区进攻上。
好，那也感谢君豪，希望今天你在赛场上能有一个好的发挥。好，欢迎来到我们的前采环节，我们也请到了苏州 LNG 的上单选手 Share 进行我们前采，来向大家打个招呼吧。
大家好，我是苏州 LNG 的上单Share。
好，欢迎 Share 啊。那首先呢，我觉得苏州 LNG 也是一个小组赛全胜的一个战绩呢，来到了我们的骑士之路当中。当然了，接下来竞争也会更加的激烈，所以你自己对于接下来的比赛的目标会是什么样？
目标就是领先2个 BO5，然后进入季后赛吧。
哎，顺利的进入到我们的季后赛当中。那第二个问题了，今天要再次面对 TT， 那 TT 呢也都是年轻的小将，虽然之前小组赛的成绩不理想，但更有可能他们会破釜沉舟，放开手脚，选择一些或许偏向于选手的非常规阵容。所以今天面对他们比赛的一个心态是什么样？
感觉就是我们保持好我们小组赛的状态，然后做好我们自己的游戏内容就可以了。
打好自己的内容是最重要的啊。那也希望你今天的比赛有一个好的发挥。
Oh, I tell you what, folks. Yesterday was a slog. Yesterday was a slog, folks. Sam and I both had about 12-hour days yesterday between shows and podcasts. But hey, you know what? It was actually pretty good games yesterday. On the whole, I really enjoyed yesterday. Yeah, I had to do 9-game day and then 2 podcasts in there as well. But yeah, we'll take those honestly. Also, we had really good views yesterday too, actually. I think we ended up peaking at about 400 without anything like front page. I don't think we had any raids yesterday either. And then we still kept up an average of about 200 and something or other. 260 was it? An average or something like that throughout 9 hours yesterday, which is kind of crazy as well. So yeah, I'm very happy with that on the whole. Very, very happy with that. Okay, so we've done adverts, and yeah, so, for those of you, that's on Twitch by the way, of course, on stuff like YouTube, whatever, it's, different. Okay, so realistically, folks, I think LNG are going to smash this series. I'm quite worried for old TT. Quite interested to see how Kenshi goes, though. Kenshi hasn't been bad. He's probably been the best part of TT, actually, which I didn't necessarily expect with, players like Junhao being pretty good in the past. Okay, I guess I should take this time to quickly go get myself a coffee or something, so I'm going to be right back real quick, folks.
观看2026英雄联盟职业联赛第一赛段，您可以通过英雄联盟客户端、掌上英雄联盟及英雄联盟赛事官网 LPL.QQ.com、虎牙直播、哔哩哔哩直播、腾讯视频、腾讯体育、新浪微博、微信视频号进行收看。电视机前的召唤师可以通过百视通平台收看全程赛事。上京东搜“京东电竞直播”，赢千元耳机和游戏手办。穿李宁日进斗金系列，祝你峡谷稳赢，马年旺到飞起。开一局吗？开就开！感谢提供全场保护的杜蕾斯，今晚持久战力开一局。Sky Motor 手机电动，快人一步，稳赢一路。TCL 全屋智慧家电，峡谷英雄敢为不凡。2026 LPL 官方指定家电产品，更受电竞用户喜欢的能量饮料，醒神好喝，当然占吧。奥风电竞椅，职业战队的选择，想赢做奥风。
让我们有请 Thunder Talk Gaming 苏州 LNG Esports。欢迎来到苏州高铁新城羊城国际电竞馆。LPL 第一赛段骑士之路第2日第1场比赛 ，TT 对阵苏州 LNG 即将开始。LPL 无畏进巅峰。
Okay. I'm here. Right. Sorry folks, I need to get myself some coffee. Still not quite used to the super early starts again. Does TT have a chance? Folks, I'm not gonna lie, I think TT are a little bit dusted here. I personally think TT might be a little bit dusted here. Hey, Huang, by the way. Good to see you. Welcome to the channel. And yeah, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Nymaera, and I've completely forgot to turn my camera on. That's a good start. Good start. Right, here we go. Hello. I'm very cozy today. Who is Nymaera? I know, it's great. It's more like, you know, Nymaera is an experience, it's a cultural movement, Monsters. You know, in some ways I think we're all Nymaera, you know? Into the draft we go, and I don't know. I don't know how to segue that. I should have prepared that one better. TT LNG, our next best of 5 on the docket here. So one of the biggest things about this is we finally get to see if LNG are all they're cracked up to be. That's going to be one of the huge things about this series. Now we know 1xN is good. We know that Croco is very good on the snowball as well. Again, LNG, those two players are the ones you have to watch in this series. For TT, their bot lane is going to have a hell of a series. It's a first pick Rumble. What else was available? Well, both the mid laners of the Orianna Azir were available. Were gone. Malphite is up as well. There is a chance of a Malphite here. Jarvan locked in to take it away from the Jarvan, though Shinzo, so Malphite completely left over. Shinzo Jarvan, you know, it's a lore matchup, but also I think probably Shinzo favored in terms of the actual burst damage. Oh no. Oh no. Wait. Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh, that's not looking great though. Wow, my PC did just freeze very briefly. I think we're okay. Okay, I think we're good now. I think we're good. I didn't quite realize that. I think we're back. Okay, cool. Cool, no worries. Well, I'm glad that happened now rather than ages into the stream or something like that. Okay, the Cassiopeia locked in for Bulldog as that's the lane counter for the Rise. And you see that TT pick it. TT pick up the Yunara as well. Interesting. It did, Blade. Yes, it did. What print is on the Udi? It's coffee. Like, I've got little like coffee cups. It's great. Okay, Kasante banned away from Keshi. Double AD carries from 1xN. Now the thing is, I think that 1xN is happy to go towards Kai'Sa. I think they can go Kai'Sa Nautilus here. Although that would give them a lot of AP. I suppose, I mean, Kai'Sa can go just towards raw AD. Now, with the Lulu gone, yeah, I think that 1xN are missing are happy to go towards something like, I think they're pretty happy to go towards a Kai'Sa here. It is very comfortable aspect that is. Kennen in for Keshi. Now, we have seen the Kennen be a Rumble counter in the past. We've also seen, weirdly, Rumble be a Kennen answer in the past too. So that's a very competitive top lane matchup. Kai'Sa, yeah, I think Kai'Sa is your play here. Oh, unless you want a Kalista Renata. Kalista Renata could actually work quite well, but it doesn't work as well versus stuff like a Realm Warping Kennen flank. I don't like the Corki as much, personally. Not having that shield or something like that to outplay could be a problem. Oh, hey Sam, how's it going? I thought you were taking the first games off. Well, I didn't know because, well, yeah, that's why I'm confused. I thought you were taking the first games off. Nico potential. Admit the Nico. The last pick in for LNG. And that'll give the, I mean, that's a very squishy team. That's a very squishy team. I'm actually quite worried for LNG's drafted. They're going to have to destroy lane. Now, in fairness, Corki Nico is a destructive lane. It is a destructive lane. And if you lock in a melee support, I don't even think the Yunara necessarily wins this. They lock in the melee support. I actually wonder whether look, Feather is a good Alistar player, and of course 1xN used to be his AD carry too. Used to be his AD carry. Hey Angie, how's it going? Interesting sentence to show up to. Yeah, join the Nymaera cultural movement. That's what you should all do, folks. The Nymaera cultural movement. And that's our drafts coming through. I think that LNG, well, they have a very squishy comp. I think that if Keshi, who is, I think, TT's best player, I think if he has a good game, this actually is very playable. This is very playable, actually. More so than I thought it would be. Now, LNG have occasionally drafted utter garbage. Occasionally. LNG, I think they lost like one game in the group stage, and it was effectively because the draft was just not fit for purpose, really. What does the Nymaera cultural movement entail? Damn. Well, I feel like the cultural movement... Look, if I have to explain it to you, are you really part of the cultural movement? I feel like if you're part of the Nymaera cultural movement, you know what the Nymaera cultural movement entails. Yeah, that, you know. If you got to ask, I'm so sorry. It's just it ain't looking good for you. All right, Sam's gonna come over now. Sam, I'm gonna really suggest we keep it quiet for the first game or two, because it is still very. Everyone's hitting me in the head with that. Just because I'm aware it's like 7 AM. It's we'll do our best to be fairly chill here, just for our neighbours, if nothing else. Let's let's get into it.
Oh, my boy 1xN is on the riff. That's all I really care about, Alex. Not gonna lie, chat. I had to do some vocal warm-ups this morning because my voice was feeling real tight after yesterday.
Sam did an extra couple of recordings after the 12-hour day as well, so
I finished my recordings at 1 AM, so I'm running on 5 hours sleep and something like 15 hours on mic.
I sold my soul to Kaiser. I can't follow Ari. There's room in both houses.
Yeah, just follow the KDA ship and have all of the. Yeah.
You know what's interesting? Is actually there's like a because in the Ruin King game it kind of like paired Ari and Yasuo. However, some people are now theorizing that actually they won't continue that because they kind of view it as like the idol mentality of like, oh, Ari can never be paired with anyone, much like the K-pop idols, because the player base will get annoyed with that. Which is why now Yasuo and Katarina are in the new skin line of I don't know.
Also, not gonna lie, they also just have different romance skin lines. Like they got Matty and Fiora in one of the skin lines.
One of the soaring sword thing, or well, there's Echo and Ezreal in Pulsar.
Yeah, exactly. So they and obviously whereas in Arcane.
However, I don't know. I just saw that conversation. I'm like, if that actually turns out to be true, that would be. That'd be sure something. So we do have both junglers going from top side to bot side. What I was saying some about this draft is that LNG have locked in 5 relatively squishy champions, the Cassiopeia being the only one who's building a significant amount of HP. And Kashi has been the best player on TT, and he's on a Kennen. This is a good Kennen matchup too. It has been a Rumble counter. Well, no, a Rumble counter in the past. And yes, it's been a known thing, but specifically into Rumble, I'm thinking back to 23, that's when I thought, that's when we saw the Kennen start to come out sometimes as a Rumble counter. So if Keshi has been the best player on TT and has a good draft to play into, I actually think TT have a good angle in this game, despite the fact that I think LNG should be turbo stomping the series.
Oh, I agree. And again, obviously, it's 1xN against his former organization here as well. Spent a long time down in LDL on different teams, but when he made his move up to LPL, it was on TT alongside players like Feather there, of course, as well. So some known history there, so to speak.
Yeah, well, 1xN spent his whole career in LPL on TT before this year.
Yeah.
It's the first time that 1xN has left TT. Of course, I think these games will be in LNG's arena too, so they get a bit of a home ground advantage there, I suppose. Shit. Losing about 10 CS right now. He's not having the best time, and I suppose he'll just have to go towards Merc Treads early and just kind of grin and bear it. Yeah, Sheer, on the whole, pretty good regular split from him. There is a Jarvan behind the snake.
Yeah, has cleared the wave out, but theoretically get ganked. Not going to happen. I think she's got enough HP there to be a little bit scary.
Harry's doing the ghost reset. Sheer hasn't had a chance to teleport back. He could be in a bit of trouble if he misses.
Gets him amidst the wave there, so should be all right. He's being very risky here, holding on best he can, but I guess he wants that better reset, wants something like the Fated Ashes on this first call if he can, or some boots, both quite valuable into the Kennen. Kennen, as you noted, always been good into the Rumble. I'm surprised we didn't see as much of it when Rumble, considering how strong Rumble's been around, but I think it's just been so hard to guarantee the Kennen, because Rumble was good in the lane swap in a way that Kennen just isn't.
yeah, because Rumble could equalize waves, occasionally Rumble would still suffer in lane swaps too. I just feel like the equalizer is just such an easier thing to play around, whereas the thing about Kennen is, if he's behind in a game and he starts ulting, he's just free gold.
Well, we saw it a little bit, unfortunately, yesterday, where Cube was on the Kennen, first pick Kennen, got Vladimir. Doing some crazy stuff. Actually, LNG have just played a Nico play into mid lane, so let's hold my nerve here a second and see whether Harry gets caught here by a tangle.
Oh, he's not checking the minions.
So, yeah, that's going to sting. I don't know whether he's going to be dead or anything there, but he'll take a chunk, and that's a bit unfortunate for him.
Keshi oh, hang on. This first trade of lanes are going really badly for him. Flashing in.
Oh, Keshi.
Sheer gets the first blood, even with the lane counter. Both the top laners teleport in, and that was the most dangerous part in the lane. Look, in the first stage of lane, this is kind of like a concept which people need to think about more, I suppose. And you'll feel it when you're playing it, right? If you start slamming someone before a reset, and then you reset. A lot of people assume that you still have the HP advantage you had before you go back to base and have full HP. Right there, Sheer comes back full HP, despite the fact that he was losing lane beforehand, and completely dumpsters Keshi on the return. So Sheer gets that first blood, and he's got Merc Treads. He's got Merc Treads ready. Suddenly the matchup turns around. That's such a huge kill for Sheer.
Really, really nice done. Again, Sheer has been a player that... actually, wait, I'll hold that one. Bulldog will not face check Junhao. Throws down the ward. It is immediately taken out, but worth knowing. He did indeed spot the jungler doing that. Followed in that bush as well, which would be quite nice. Good chunk there onto Feather, and again, bot lane is not going to be the most fun here for the Nymaera, who's down 20 CS, but you're into... double range matchup. Like, Nymaera is good into Corki in an individual matchup, but the supports make such a difference. It's why we have started seeing much more for Corki Nami, Corki Nico being much better into Nymaera, especially if you take the melee matchup in it.
And this is the thing, right? And stuff like Bard can even come out, right, and be a bit threatening. Harry's looking for the Realm Warp, though. I don't really think... I'm not going to lie, with Ryan on that HP, we'd be gone to like Ryan 138 at that point.
I've forgotten what it was. I should have kept it written down.
Sam, I'm not gonna lie. I know it's some. That's a good point. Maybe I can go check that. In fact, Sam, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, tell me what Ryan we're on.
Including like all amateur results and stuff like that too.
I just went for his career. Yeah. Because again, we're in a sort of total recall scenario here, where basically,
what? Oh my God. Yeah. So what do we do? Do you take the deaths and then add 3?
That's what I've been doing.
Okay, so it started on 3, and then he went into his pro career, and he's at 145 deaths. So we're on currently Ryan 148.
Yeah, and welcome to Ryan 148. There we go. It's appropriate because he's on 48 CS right now as well. It was written in the stars.
God, yeah. Ryan 148. Well, we could have had one Ryan 49. That shit, dropping the equalizer. Oh, that's actually kind of dangerous.
I think Keshi could be forced to slicing Maelstrom there. Won't be quite forced into that, but it's still not having a great time there in the lane.
Yeah, and you know, Sheer is 10 CS down, but he's so much happier than he was. Does get the honey fruit. That'll help. That'll help. So Dragon is alive. Jin has in the bot side. Will be spotted. Croco is a level down for now, but one more camp would sort that. And this is another thing too. We're talking about the bot lane matchup, saying, okay, well, you know, Nymaera versus double range. Not all double ranges are created equal as well. And stuff like the Nico has just been obnoxious for a whole year now of support, really. Such a disgusting champion in that bot lane. Can do a lot of things which just no one else can do. But also just being a really good poke champion. It's given 1xN and Missing now a 20 CS lead. We've even had Missing roam about the map. This could actually be, Sam, a bit of a revival year for Missing, who ever since 2023 has felt very flat-footed. He's not really felt like he's been that impactful, but I think he's actually had a pretty good game so far. Feather might go for a flash combo, but they are spotted on a ward, so Junhao will not be unseen heading bot side.
Exactly that, and they're not going to overforce here. I think LNG playing the spot lane out very smoothly so far, and I completely agree with you. I think the fact that obviously you've got a veteran former superstar support as well, like Missing alongside the likes of On were really our best 2 supports for a long time, and Mako obviously was up in that mix as well, particularly during that sort of 2023 era when he was on that incredible JDG roster alongside Ruler. And that was an era when things like the Lulu and some of those enchanters were being played, and it is nice to see that with some of these more lane dominant supports back in the meta. Hang on, there is a game lane gank happening here. Let me jump onto Missing. Have we just cast a curtain? We'll pop Blossom flash away. We'll get flash on in turn. Will likely die here. Now Croco is around. Big one onto Ryan 3. Flash Wind becomes lightning, and that means that Junhao is likely dead as well, and indeed falls. HP bar's not fantastic here for Thundertalk, and I think they have to leave.
Yeah, 1xN really happy to stick around in laning phase after that to another equalizer on top side. Keshi's not feeling particularly happy. There goes the slicing Maelstrom. Good damage back.
That could get a bit interesting. What about this extended trade? It's not bad from Keshi. So ult for ult.
See how every single lane from LNG is giving a hard time to the enemy opponent. To the enemy lane, really. Keshi should be further up in top lane. And that's not happening right now. Bulldog playing at the Cassiopeia matchup well versus Heracross. Bulldog coming in. Was he Nongshim last year? Anyway, he came in from LCK. Oh, it was a dodge on the ultimate there from the Rise, but still you take the damage, which kind of painful in bot lane. Yes, you get the kill onto Ryan 3. 1xN gets the kill on the other side though, so it's not like you even get ahead there. Both of them have culls, and because 1xN is now ahead in terms of gold and plates and equal in kills. We're probably going to see, once again, like an 11-minute quest for 1xN. And we'll see how much longer it'll take Ryan, because if it does get delayed there, the gold lead is only going to get larger for 1xN.
And the flash combo's blown now on Feather as well, so your ability to consistently find that engage is still going to be quite limited.
Oh, it's DNF for Bulldog. Yeah, DNF, right.
Will be interesting to track, I think, as well, because he is going to be very annoying to deal with. Yes, you can still try and send it at the Nico, but she's relatively slippery with that Slape Changer.
My issue with the cannon is that, from chat, that is probably the champion that suffers the most against exhaust. You will notice there's no exhaust in this game, but actually, funny enough, I did check that in the early game, didn't get a chance to talk about it. There's no spell book here as well. But yeah, exhaust has typically been one of the things which you just insta-lock in when there's a cannon on either side. Oh, Keshi's going towards the Gunblade first, by the way. That's what we've seen a bit more from LCK. LCK have typically liked to go towards that. I didn't see what UAK's there.
Just a touch.
Okay. So we've got adjustments to make in the control center, folks, at the battle station. Did I miss anything else to check? Oh, hello, just Gamnot and Soul Puppy as well. Good to see both of you. That's an ult on top side. Keshi's not going to get hit by the equalizer though.
Could be a bit more problematic, and Keshi feels like a back on track here again. And we'll note actually that this particular cannon is going towards the Gunblade. I have seen a few builds where they go towards the Rocket Belt still. In this one, of course, Gunblade gives you that sustain, which can be quite nice, really.
Yes.
Did you say that just
yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
So it's while I was dealing with my knee giving me jip. Getting old, chat.
Yeah. No, I'm allowed. Well, you're allowed. We're allowed like one of them a day. So, well, probably more actually, especially after your 9-game day. Part of me, look, yesterday, Sam. Part of me was like, we should have just had the 10-game day just to say we've done it. You know, two game 5s in a row. One thing which I have to say I don't miss. I missed for the first time we had it, but I don't miss, is the Game 5 1v1 side select.
Yeah.
Because I think in another region, so for instance, I think LCS would really benefit from this. I think they would benefit from 1v1 for side selects and stuff like that. One, because it's just really good to talk your shit. And when you play less games, I think there's less strain on your schedule to do something like that. But with LPL, particularly when we've had like 15 teams last year and we've had, 16 teams last year or 17 teams the year before that, you just can't. You can't throw on 20 minutes for every extra series. The amount of actual broadcast time you end up missing, effectively, or like using is just really, really high. Despite the fact that I really enjoyed stuff like remember when Top Esports lost their Game 5 against WE because 369 lost his 1v1.
Yeah.
And that gave them that gave a very good draft to WE in Game 5, which knocked Top Esports out of Spring. That was really, really cool. I do miss that somewhat, to an extent, but the amount of time it took to do that kind of thing was really annoying. Hang on, jump over the wall.
Missing potential danger again, still trapped in that castle.
Oh my god!
Going around is good. There's the flashback out of the way. They jumped on for 1xN and gets exhausted, but again, I don't think they care. They full send and don't really get that much done.
No, Missing does lose his flash, but it's in a 2v3 with 1xN and Missing win that. By the way, we have seen all the quests completed by LNG, and TT now moving out of bot lane. Oh, Crocker's going in.
Something more. The blast cone is probably just about going to be enough, and it is, but that's going to be the red buff gone.
Crocker was trying to see if he could interrupt the auto attack on the blast cone. Sometimes he can get that timing right, but yeah, we'll have to see when that bot lane roll quest is completed. I think TT might be completing that like 14 minutes now.
Oh boy, out come the water and try and fight this. Just has got the tool. They are down so much here, so they will not get that red buff. Dragon's just spawning, and again, we didn't really chat about it because we're moving on other stuff, but 1xN and Missing did kill off that bot lane turret very early on here. That was first turret. CS lead is now up to over 30. Or 30 actually, as I just watched Ryan reclaim away. But either way, still very significant. And that gold lead, 1500, with only one kill apiece in bot lane. It's just raw laning strength right now from LNG that is giving them a significant early lead in this game.
Yeah, and we were saying, look, TT, very good draft if against 5 squishies. Hang on, Missing is he? Hey, you did catch our hero earlier, actually. I don't think you spotted him again, actually.
Tackle bobs into the booming burst. He's trying to hold this wave, I guess, while this
in
play was happening.
In fairness, no one actually there to back him up there. But yeah, no, we were saying, look, LNG, squishy draft, but if they just go through lanes, then TT will be happy. We'll see what Keshi does. This is all down to Keshi now. He has managed to retain a lead in top lane. Now, my argument would be it should be larger. Sheer got that first kill. Has largely been able to stay in the lane better than we've seen previous Rumbles do against Kennen. Kennen has often been a big problem for them. It's all on Keshi. It's all on can Junhao and Keshi see enough people without flashes up and just obliterate them. That's going to be the big turning point, I think, because I don't think anyone else has the ability to really turn this around right now. We've seen 1xN missing literally 2v3 from that laning phase. And right, they're actually doing good damage to Feather again there, actually. You can see how annoying it is for the Alistar trying to jump in towards the Nico.
Yeah, not exactly great fun, is it? As the pressure continues, more plates going down in mid lane. It's not really a lot you get to do that. That's the first item, Locket, from the Alistar to try and manage the burst coming out of the Nico and the Corki. Bulldog just shoving up in this top lane. Has done a fairly decent job here into Heru as well, as up a very similar amount of CS. The 1xN is actually both of those laners having a good time, and I think Bulldog, having had a mediocre time, I think, over the last year or so, has come on to...
Well, it depends if it was Tristana or not.
Well,
Tristana was a great time, so that was wonderful. Jumping on to Sheer. Here comes Junhao. It's probably a dead Sheer.
He probably is. Over comes the rest of the crew. He's got a flash. Will get out. The TP comes on forward. The players and drag goes wide, but the flash headbutt will secure. There's a flash pop bottom angle. It's a good amount of damage there on Takeshi, and he goes down to the Twin Fangs, and that's a bit
that's a fast
unfortunate.
snake.
She is real quick. And slithers into that bot lane play, ends up being the 1-for-1. Both top laners falling as a result of the play, and Croco should pick up Herald here. Is being threatened by Heru. Menaced, you might say. There goes the eye. Picks up, goes on in. The 3 Talon Strike knockup. Can maybe look to Crescent Guard, maybe ask to here is Croco. Be quick through these bushes, loses the ghost actually going on in there. Wow, they really want this. Overcomes the flag, the drag. There will be a Crescent Guard mark away. And now 1xN is here. Oh, Thundertalk, this is a bit much. Feather now here as well. There's a teleport into the lane. This is possibly...
Rumbles coming in from that. I think that's just a retreat from TT. So, LNG get a 1-for-1 in the bot side. Now, that doesn't necessarily seem important, I suppose. It might not seem important, rather. But because they managed to get that kill back, it does mean that TT invested a lot of people into bot side to not really get that much out of their power play. Now, Keshi does have 1,000 gold lead. That is the big win there. Again, everything about this TT draft screams, God, Keshi, save us. It's just whether he can get himself that huge play. There is no exhaust on the other side. Really is all about Keshi. It's a one-man show, Sam.
He's going to try and do his
Got,
best.
like, the little
you need to go to
symbols
his
in his
castle
hands.
and hope. TT Keshi's castle.
Yeah. I know. I hear that they're very powerful, fortifications. Sam, now, is it like a star fort? Is it like a Mott and Bailey, like a keep? I can't think of too many other kinds of castles.
Camelot.
Ah, well, second thought. Let's not go there. It's a silly place.
It's a silly place. Exactly. That's the worry, isn't it? Is the worry. Ryan eats a horrid trade.
Jesus, yeah, that's level 11 Corki Spike, by the way, the second tier of that ultimate. Doesn't even have Muramana completed yet. Jeez. Tell you one thing which I'm quite surprised at. I'm quite surprised that no Corkis have been going towards Essence Reaver instead of the Triforce.
No damage, and I build tier.
No,
I
no
need
damage.
No mana from the likes of you.
No damage.
There is a potential drive to.
You can actually get from you can get from out out here, I think, actually. That's a good drive. That's going to get a lot of damage here.
Nice. There you go. Does indeed get some additional plates. Out comes with the grubs. They're trying to make a run what play from the Bulldog, but it's a very slippery snake, and she just gets to slide away again.
Whee! Keshi's dead.
He is indeed. Who's going to get the kill? It will be Croco.
Ah, Keshi's dead. Bulldog might get visited here, but he does have upgraded.
Quite scary.
He has upgraded Motreads.
Yeah.
Look, I actually don't. Look, they're gonna die with the Alistar ultimate. Bulldog still might outplay this.
He's gonna try it.
Oh,
good. Petrifying Gaze causes some trouble there. Feather is tanking the turret and will do a decent job. I appreciate the attempt, even if it doesn't work. Gives 1xN the chance to shove through mid though, and that will be a lot of plates for this Corki.
I mean, it was a pretty slick attempt. He tried, but now the problem is they've invested very heavily in bot side again. And because Alistar's so low HP, he can't set out on the map. In fact, even stopping a double recall. So that means that Ryan 3 and Harry are going to be well delayed resetting on the map. They lose both mid lane and top lane from that push, and they're behind for the dragon spawn. So while Bulldog dying in side lane and losing flash obviously is not a good thing, they do manage to immediately push the other lanes, delay the recalls, and that then sets them ahead for the dragon. They're now on soul point as well, and this is kind of what we were saying about, look, realistically, TT, they're going to be fighting a huge uphill battle today. Even though they come from Group Perseverance, they only won a single game in Group Perseverance. It was against EDG. EDG were the only team which managed to drop a game to them. It's not a bad attempt from him. But the problem is LNG, they're slicker on the map. I think they're very strong laners, as we've clearly seen in this early game. So, unless LNG draft themselves into just a horrid situation, I don't see them losing games in this series, which is pretty terrifying for TT, because, of course, if you don't make playoffs, you're down in Group Nirvana. You are in that lower group again. TT, it's going to be quite hard for them to fight for playoffs, I think. I mean, obviously, if they lose here today, you're out of playoffs contention. And yeah, TT, they'd find themselves stuck in Group Nirvana again.
Very real possibility here. Missing does get engaged on here. Does have flash. Maybe he has to blow it. Does so as the Cataclysm comes on down. In fairness to Junhao, has been very proactive with those Cataclysms involved. For every kill they've managed to get, Ryan's got two of them. Again, is good kill distribution. But either way, it's still going to be a very solid gold lead here for LNG. And again, later this game goes, the harder I think it will be for this comp to go diving in and survive it. Because you dive into Petrifying Gaze and Miasma and Equalizer and all of this stuff. Not like LNG are shy on damage themselves, and Keshi needs to be really careful. Here she is in the bush, will equalize Keshi and cause a lot of trouble for this poor Kennen, who gets slowed down. He's just going to be forced to flash, isn't he?
Yes, and that's no flash. He's going to die afterwards. She gets another solo kill on Keshi. This is the counter matchup, Sam. The Kennen's meant to be... You are meant to be balanced in the top lane, not leave it in Rumble.
Yeah, and unfortunately that one's just the unawareness that there could in fact be a Rumble in the bush. They're trying to pull it on the other side.
You ignore stat changes by enemy Pokemon.
Yeah,
unaware. I hear that. Yeah, I hear that's all the meta nowadays. Junhao is in topside. Baron has been started. Is this just miracle steal angle or death?
It could be. Actually, they don't know he's there. They don't know he's there.
They do now. Okay, LNG, you should not be flipping this. LNG, please don't flip this, LNG.
They've got to know. They see Junhao, they're warding him off. Can they keep him away? She is turning onto him. Junhao gets hit! He can steal this still. Oh my god, who got the Baron? It was in fact Rocco, my days. Okay, so they did try and hold it, but they did hold it at 2000 HP, which is not a great holding.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, they're holding the Baron at like 3k HP, and it's still burning. That's the problem. He actually gets into the pit. LNG. My dudes, that's how you lose a one game of League of Legends. Just by randomly throwing a Baron over to the side. Croco.
He's fine. You know what? That was perfectly calculated.
Sure, if you like remove a 0 or something, sure, perfectly calculated. Croco, gonna make his way out. 5 Baron buffs for LNG. I don't think we're gonna see a proper 5v5 this game.
No, I don't know.
This is, one of the things when you're first starting League of Legends and you start playing, in your normal games, into ranked or whatever. Most of the time, up until you reach, much more kind of like considered levels of play, which is can be very high up in the ranks sometimes, even when you get to like Diamond, you don't always see it. Sometimes you just don't get proper team fights because it's just over from lane. I remember when years and years ago, back in like 2014, when I finally reached like a decent rank, or it would have been 2015 or something like that, and I realized that, oh my god, I've just played my first team fight. It's no longer just about lane and skirmish. It kind of feels like that kind of game, where LNG have just blasted TT so hard early. This is never going to come down to a 5v5 again.
No,
it's
not.
That means that the Cannon, who just had to teleport away from top lane because he was afraid that Junhao was coming for him, Croco was coming for him, by the way. TT are never going to get to teamfight. This Cannon will never get to teamfight. And that's exactly what you picked it for.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really tricky. Feather goes over the wall, is immediately rooted by the Tangle Barb. Bulldog is also utterly terrifying now on this Cassiopeia, up 1,600 gold individually. I think we've put a lot of attention towards the spot lane, and rightly so. I think they were the ones who managed to weather a lot of the early ganks, get a lot of that early gold. Ryan picking up some gold of his own is good news. He's at least got to the Infinity Edge now. He's on parity with 1xN, who's on a pretty terrifying spike of his own here. And Keshi has found a potential flank. They know he's there.
Oh dear, no flash. No HP. Keshi dies. Spotted on that ward outside of it, just in the river there. Well, he needed a creative flank. Instead, he found Doom.
Like, I do think that this scoreline is not necessarily indicative of what Kennen's been trying to do in the game. The 2 solo kills are frustrating, and they're not really excusable. But everything else you can sort of see is mostly around Keshi trying to make things happen in a game that has felt very out of TT's hands from very early on in the game. Heru forced out of the mid lane wave is going to get jumped on regardless, and out comes the rest of LNG, who just brute forced their way through this turret.
And you've got Cassiopeia pushing up bot side as well. So TT, this has been a full court press. I think TT, they really relied on this Kennen, and Sam, Kennen, I don't know whether you checked any time recently, is 1 and 5.
Yes.
I will say we have managed to retain the life of Ryan 149. Oh, rather 148. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad. Sorry, my huge
We're not on
mistake
to the
there.
next model yet.
No, not onto the next. Ryan 148 has survived for 25 minutes so far, and presumably a little bit of the last game that he was in, although perhaps not. Might have been dead at the Nexus.
Okay, Alex, question.
Yes.
Is it Ryan 148 or is it Ryan 3.145?
Why?
Is this like a patch note on Ryan 3?
Ryan 3145. Huh. No, it's 148.
It's 148.
It's easy to say.
That's right.
That's a cloud soul for LNG. So
It is.
just doing a due diligence.
Yeah.
This is the point in the old OGN cast where this would be Star Wars time, Sam.
Dun, 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 dun,
No. Is it like talking about Star Wars?
Episode 1, Phantom Cast.
Oh, who's the Phantom? Who's casting it, Sam?
Oh, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yes, Sam. That's why I'm asking it. Potential bush bait.
I'm not going to answer that until episode 3.
We actually might end up getting ourselves a character onto missing.
Maybe this is the Phantom we had all along. Missing does go gold. No one's is a little bit of time, but there will be no Qui-Gon Jinn moment. He gets to survive. Unfortunately for them, they are still going to enjoy the fires of Mustafar. As poor old TT are forced to run away, they're going to keep chasing. Watch Wallix, and he's going to flash. He's going to
Cashy's
flash.
going for the It's not bad from him. Does take down missing, but he'll die all the same. LNG find themselves jumped on, and they just don't care.
They just don't care, and that is a full team ace. And Keshi takes one with him on the way out. Good for you, Keshi. However, your base will die, as will this game.
Sam CT just tried to do a bush bait to get something back against LG, and they can't even kill the Nico. He goes golden, and he does die at the end of the play, but that is just summing up the game for TT. Demolished in lane, demolished in macro. LNG, we were asked in the question, are they really all they're cracked up to be?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are. LNG are a very good team, folks, and I'm scared for TT.
Yeah, I think this might be a very swift 3-0, which I'm not going to lie, guys, I could probably do with. My voice could use the slightly shorter day.
Change the camera lens over. Because, you're wearing I didn't even realize I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt.
It is my Galactic Star Cruiser t-shirt.
Yeah. Did you see that they're like bringing back they're changing the galaxies. What's up?
I'm going to put the Spotify on.
Okay, right. Camera lens changed.
Ta-da!
Hello. I can put on some adverts and stuff like that now too. Hello. Obviously, pretty crazy start for LNG, but something that what's up, Sam?
So I was getting my chair turned around. So I was like, ooh, he's spun around.
Yeah, because Sam's chosen to interlock the chairs, like
mean
chairs
to.
like chairs interlocked, like a Blade Runner 2049 reference live on your screens.
Is that a?
Yes, like cells interlinked.
Oh.
Yes.
Right. Now,
Sam clearly does not know the hot tech of
no.
Blade Runner 2049.
I'm not a replicant here, I'm afraid.
Well, I mean, not as far as we know, Sam, but
Yeah, well, what's the name of the test again that they do?
I can't remember. I don't know. Replicant test, Sam. What the fuck do you want me to know?
It's got a particular name.
Sam, no, it doesn't. No.
Yes, it does.
No, I don't think it does. No.
Stop gaslamping me.
Yeah, maybe in another world, Sam. But yeah, first game for LNG. This one could be very quick. Now, LNG occasionally have drafted themselves into a hole which is pretty unplayable. I thought that there were some risks in this, but if LNG get winning lanes, it's pretty much doomed. What's up, Sam?
Nothing especially. What? Why?
Because you were zoning out of the conversation, Sam. You were leaving me on my lonesome
I wanted to go check
this
out what the
early
name
into
of the replicant conversation was, but I was listening to you.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna Sam. Let's look at Sam. What do you look at?
Replicant test name. It is the Void Camp test or the VK test.
Nice. That's some good damage from Keshi, but that's kind of about it, really.
Yeah.
1xn doubled the damage.
We are
of
very
Rampage Rush.
zoomed in on me. I just realised.
Yeah, because I was looking at what you were doing, Sam.
What is it?
Because I want
Was
to
it
see
worth it?
what was so important on you. You got something to share with the class,
I
Sam?
did. I literally shared you about the Void Camp test.
No, you didn't, Sam. No, you didn't.
Early in the morning for this chat.
Yeah. Oh god. Okay, folks, I'm gonna put on an advert and we're gonna go to a quick break, and then when we're back, it'll be game 2 of LNG TT. Look, I should probably get changed at this point. Probably. I do feel very comfy, however, I It's really warm in the stream today, actually. I'm surprised. It was
I
really
think
cold.
I think it has, in fact, gotten warmer outside.
Yes, that's. I think it's just warmer in general. Yeah. This was an early game, which TT would like to forget. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you with that for a second. I'm gonna go get changed.
Go do that. I think it could be quite a short first series, chat. I'm not gonna lie to you. And the fact that missing was there to turn that around is so frustrating. They get the dive, and even the proactive moves were counted. Wonder who gets MVP. I feel like it probably is someone like 1XM, but I think Bulldog could get it. Rocco had a good game as well. All would be fine. And indeed, it was Sheer, interestingly, managed to deal with the pressure against him very well. Got a couple solo kills, and despite the counter matchup, did very well. You know what? I can see the angle on this one. For Sheer.
My go-to.
When I first thought I was getting Sheer 1XN and missing on a team, I was a fan. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think this was a very astute set of champions players to pick up in that regards. I think TT are gonna get swept. Honestly, I think this might be a 3-0. That's a 9-film marathon. Jesus, for Star Wars. That's quite good going. Relatively. I'm trying to read chat, but it's quite a long way away.
Yeah. Yeah, but it also means that we, yeah, so funnily enough, actually, we had a stream freeze, like, right at the start, even without the, browser tabs open. That is how it is. You need a break for anything?
I'm alright for now.
You got yourself you don't have a drink or anything?
No, I prefer to do that.
Yeah, which is why I'm like, do you want a break for anything?
Yeah, okay, fair.
Do I need a break for anything? No. You sure? Okay, then. It is, in fairness, yeah, very early, getting still into our into the swing of things. I was need to figure some stuff out to do during the break, folks. Let's have a think. So we're gonna do words on stream, maybe. Let me have a look at that. Donde está the words on stream? Ah, sorry, that's my RPG starting. I closed my browser, so I was like, okay, I can do that. Let me go find some words on stream. No, Star Wars only had 6 movies? Whoa, 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 whoa. Rogue One's in there too. Okay, let me think about where that is. Cool, that's fine. Where's words on stream? Cool. Let's do this for a bit. Oh my god, hang on, sorry, that's really loud. What? Hang on, 1 sec. Sorry, that was really loud for a second. There you go. Oopsies, oopsies. Oops. Sorry, folks. Why is TT so bad? Look, TT just have a weaker roster. I mean, this is I suppose it's a roster which lost a lot of big players coming into this. They lost 1XN, and I'd imagine they lost Beitron midway through last year. They lost 1XN. It's very hard to come back from that. Do you see the G2 subreddit this past few days? Everyone's saying Roman should resign for keeping the same roster instead of upgrading. I don't think that's true. Like, saying that in retrospect, I don't think that's true, right? I think you come off of Worlds, and I think G2 were pretty happy with things. I think you could argue that, yeah, you could argue that they should have picked up Busio instead of Labrov, but I don't think anything else outside of that would have been crazy different for them. I don't think they would have got Canna, and I think they would have wanted to keep Broken Blade. Damn, we're gonna lose in the first level. Me look. These letters suck. That sounds like cope, folks. That sounds like cope. Not gonna lie to you. What about there you go. Got one for you. Game over. Play again. No, that's the wrong thing. Whoops. Yes, we go again. Inspired is mental and wouldn't work in the GT squad. Yeah, I don't think that. And Inspired is a particular kind of person you have to build around, right? But like, he's a very forceful personality and someone that has to be like central to the roster, I think. Whereas I think that Skewmond is a bit more facilitative. And I think Skewmond's been the best part of G2 this year so far. I think that he's actually been very good, so I don't think it's on him. So personally, I think that Skewmond's been fine to good. He's been the best part of G2, I think, so far. Yeah, and then you think about everyone else. Well, I think I think pretty much everyone else has been underperforming. Watching the sequel territory. Oof. Me and my partner did a 9-film marathon of Star Wars. It was incredible and style. You didn't do Rogue One? I think if you're gonna do a marathon of the Star Wars films, I think you should include Rogue One. Rogue One is very, very good. In fact, so my partner Angie hadn't seen Star Wars before we were friends. So we ended up watching all the Star Wars movies in like an extended period of time, like over a month or so. And we ended up doing, I think you kind of have to start with A New Hope, otherwise it's more like A New Hope just doesn't like tonally make sense unless you watch it first. Like, more like you lose. A New Hope just, yeah, it kind of, you're kind of like, it explains the genre rather than explaining the world. It explains the genre really, where you're like, okay, this is what a space opera is. And then we went kind of, I think we went, did we go through the sequels? So I think we went through the original trilogy. Then we went to do the prequels, and then we ended up with Rogue One into episode 4. I think that's what we ended up doing. I think we did the original trilogy. prequels, Rogue One, and then finished on A New Hope again. But we watched both of them in the same sitting. We didn't watch past 4. No, we did watch past 4. We watched 5 and 6. We watched Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, right? Wait, did we not watch? No, we watched Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Oh yeah, we didn't watch episode. Yeah, we didn't watch Force Awakens. Yeah. Don't watch the Sure, I don't think that word's gonna get accepted there, but Lightstar. Yeah, I think that the sequel trilogy. Look, the first half an hour of Force Awakens is actually pretty good. The first half hour, and then it just falls off because then at that point it's just rehashing A New Hope. And I know it's a meme to say that, but it legitimately is. I will say the sequel trilogy, the best part of it is Kylo. I think Adam Driver actually plays it very well. Yeah, he's a good actor. I like him. Are we all prequel bros here? I love the prequels. Hang on, folks. Let me show this. So I'll show you how much of a Star Wars head I am. One sec. Now, while I am somewhat of a sequel hater, I do actually have a Kylo Ren lightsaber. This one's out of charge right now, I think. Yeah, this is out of charge. However, I do have this Saber Forge saber as well, and it sounds really, really cool. Like it's just, it's so cool. So anyway, I'll just show that on stream very briefly. Let's get ourselves into game then, shall we? Let's get ourselves into game. We'll get rid of that. You've passed the level. You're fine. Let's Okay. Yeah, I think that Kylo Ren was the best part of the sequels. It doesn't save the trilogy, but he was a good part of it. The prequel hate was so forced. I mean, I understand some of it. I do think that the dialogue in the prequels is genuinely diabolical. A lot of the dialogue is not great. It's very, very hammed up, and that doesn't always land very well. Okay, into draft numeros 5. Okay, Malphite was completely passed over in that first game. Not that it changed that much. Jace banned, Varus banned, so we still have Azir up. TT were on this same side last time, and they don't ban the Azir this time. Now that's interesting. They choose to give Bulldog that. We had the Rise Cassiopeia out already. We still have... Yeah, that Azir is the big one up, really. What else is important? Well, we got rid of the Nico, which is one of the most picked ones. Ahri into it? I don't think Ahri's that good into the Azir. And Azir can shuffle away from the Vi-Ahri combo. Do you know how it is a Vi player? There's a reason why this combo isn't picked that much, though, folks. It has been nerfed a fair amount over the last year or so. Well, several years now, really. LNG. Well, I think you can just lock in... You can lock in a jungler, which is fairly defensive here, and just... Yeah, the Wukong can clone backwards. Or Cyclone onto the target, which gets ulted by those two. You can even body block stuff like the Charm with the clone as well, which is a big problem for this combo. Gnar locked in for Sheer. Now that's a little bit risky, but I guess what this is saying is, look, Sheer saying, look, I'm going to beat you in lane. We saw this from 369, we saw this from... Who tried it the other day? Hoya was trying it versus Sobro, and though it didn't work out, it did win the game. Yeah. Gnar is effectively the I'm going to destroy you in side lanes if you're a worse player. Gnar is such a pub stomp top laner in LPL. As in, if you're the better top laner, you lock Gnar and you just do disgusting things. Bot lane left into the last parts of the draft again, so we do have stuff like Kalista, Ezreal. I guess TT might be looking at a Kai'Sa here. They could look at a Misfortune. I think Ryan and Feather, the problem is they want a combo which there are only so many bot lanes which can follow aggressive dives. And there are definitely less aggressive lanes which can follow a dive and also win lane. Ezreal and Renata both ran away from LNG. I mean, at one extent, Ezreal is really, really good. Now, LNG want a strong lane, but one that also doesn't care about getting dove on as much. I think LNG might go towards a Braum lane. I think they might go... They want a tank support. They want a tank support. Something that can just stand in the way of Viaru. Kind of punt Jax out of the team fight. I think LNG might actually go for a Misfortune, despite the fact that it's getting dove onto. Do TT want to angle for something like a Kai'Sa lane? But they don't have the Nautilus. So what do you do with that? Do you go for the Misfortune? Yeah, maybe they go for the Misfortune, actually. I mean, there's the Wukong for cancel on the other side. I think you go Misfortune here for TT. It's a strong lane which has a long-range ultimate. You could also go Jhin. But I think the Jhin is less forceful in him. It probably survives better, though. I think it's Jhin or Misfortune, one of the two. You could go Jhin Bard, maybe. Thresh Phalios? You've shown your hand there. You're going for the Thresh. Now, the problem is you can Aphelios Lulu here. Lucian Braum? Lucian Braum would be fun, and 1xN is a hell of a good Lucian. Sivir has the Spell Shield. It's a little bit harder to play into the Vi, though, because she can smite you just before she lands. I think you can Aphelios Lulu. If you want to take it away from the Thresh, you can Aphelios Lulu if you want. Depends how much takeaway. I mean, the problem is if you go for the Aphelios, then you're playing Aphelios into Vi, which feels a bit shit. Goes for the Sivir, so what do you go with that? Sivir Leona's okay. You want a defensive tank support, just someone that doesn't get exploded by the Viari very much. I think the Leona's pretty okay here. Even though Thresh is quite good versus that, Sivir Leona will be fine. Harry's signature was Ari and BLG Jr. Yeah, I did see that he played a ton of it. I did check his stats earlier in the year, but I just don't like the Ari into Azir. I just think in pro play, the Azir just doesn't care and then just ends up outscaling you. Okay, so that's going to be our draft. Realistically, I think that LNG walk away not feeling too bad about the dive combo from TT. This is a pretty coherent draft from TT, though. I mean, they can fight in bot lane. Mid jungle's competitive, top lane's competitive. And if you get onto everyone being online, you know, Aphelios ult firing into the play and everyone else diving in, it's not bad. But it really has to be good angles from Junhao. My worry is, if LNG again just get slightly ahead in the Gnar matchup, slightly ahead with the Sivir as well, I just don't see how TT unseat them with the level of play that they're showing right now. Put himself a quick ad break on. Let's get into game 2. LNG, realistically, if TT don't play well in lane, game's over anyway. So last game, it just felt like LNG just walked away with a huge lane diff and it wasn't particularly competitive. TT needs to win early game so bad. I would slightly change that. I mostly agree. I think they need to survive early game and get through to a mid game combo. If they get a good first ult of the game, I think game on. So that's what we're looking for. Can TT get themselves a good first ult of the game? Oh, some lone Jayaz out there. That's cute. That's cute. That's something which I'm always happy to do, by the way. If you're in a crowd and you're like the one person who like cheers for the team, good on you. Need more people like that. Harry walking up for the level 1 trade with the electrocute W, but the problem is it's into a bone plating, which just feels really crap. So then your electrocute kind of gets a little bit denied by the bone plating, which is just not very fun, really. Yeah, you can see that, you know, Ari's also gone for... I think Ari also went for bone plating, though. Now, we saw this a lot with Ari matchups back in 2023, because effectively what we saw was Ari start dominating a lot of early lanes, and then we saw stuff like LeBlanc, Vex, Annie into Ari, And then what Ari would do is go bone plating to still win the early trades. And then we saw the people that were really angling for that early damage go for the bone plating as well. So it basically became like a bone plating arms race. So then it became like, okay, well, if you don't end up getting the defensive runes, you just end up de facto losing the early lane, which is a problem. So that's why we see both these players going for that, I believe both went for the bone plating anyway, but it does affect the way that you play out the lane. Because if you can walk up and actually get that first electrocute trade down very well as the Ahri, it does change things. Just talk about Haru and the Ahri, because he was a big player of it. In LDL and BLG now, I don't love it into this draft because the Azir just tends to be very survivable. And if Azir, as long as Azir survives, he's more useful than you. The onus is on Ahri to accelerate the game. And if the best players in the world of it, in a good Ahri meta, have been able to do that. But just currently, it feels like it's a little hard to do that, consistently anyway.
Yep. Worth noting, by the way, if you weren't here for it, Sheer did get MVP for game 1.
Oh, cool. I was not there. That. Huh.
Pretty unanimous.
Yeah,
6 out of 8 votes.
I mean, in fairness, he did get the double solo kills. That's fair, actually. Yeah.
Played very well in the counter matchup, I think. So that's good. Missing is going to end up in a pretty horrible situation. I think he might actually just be dead here. He's got the heal.
He's got heals.
Is it going to matter? There'll be another death sentence.
They're level 3 with no components.
They can flash for this. Yeah, there we go. He's going to force that one at the very least. It's the lantern that went out hilariously, but I suppose it would have allowed for potential flash auto and then come back on the lantern.
True. Yeah. I think that realistically, Missing was making out with the double summoners. If he died there, he would have felt like he'd greeted that.
Yeah.
But no, good play around the Graviton. This is the power of the Aphelios Thresh. Now, the Sivir Leona, not really a combo that we see that much. I think LNG just say, look, we're getting a cull. We're going to scale up. This is not about dominating lane for them in the same way. LNG just want to make sure that they're getting through the early game and they don't fall down to that first combo of the game, really. TT need that good first ultimate.
Yes, they do. Hop away from Sheer. Keshi and TT continue to get some idea of a shove up there. John, how is bot lane? Reminder Missing just blowing all his summoners makes this quite dicey as 1xN steps forward. They'll put the ward down, aware that something could be happening, and they will pull away with little else to worry about.
Oh, you played the Battlefront games on PS2 and it made you enjoy the prequels more? One of the great things about the prequels from Star Wars is, so particularly Attack of the Clones had 12 tie-in games. 12! Stuff like Jedi Starfighter, the GBA games, Battlefront, like
Republic Commando.
Republic Commando. I'm trying to remember if that was 2 or that was more like, yeah, 2 and 3, I suppose, both of them. But that was, I miss when movies and media franchises were actually multimedia franchises. It was also cheaper to develop games back then on like the PS2,
Did it on
360,
faster schedules too.
PS2,
yeah.
Xbox era, and then going into the 360 and the PS3 era. It was also just a very good return on investment at that point. I actually think studios should be developing more like, by today's standards, low scale kind of
double
game
A
tie-ins.
games, yeah.
Double A games for stuff like that, because I missed the random movie tie-in games. Some of them were surprisingly good. I have good memories of like Jurassic Park games. You know, it feels
Shout out Operation Genesis.
Oh, so good. And you know, there were a bunch of games which were, you know, surprisingly good for the amount of effort, quote unquote, that we put into them.
Really all that much happening in this early game. On again, Ryan 3 and Feather with that slight lead, and that's a big deal because last game they were kind of manhandled. They're going to try and step forward here. Again, 1xM with the spell shield is relatively slippery as long as he's outside of range of the flay to follow a death sentence.
Did Ryan die at the end of the last game? Did he end up surviving? Yes, he did. He did.
Remember, yes,
so we're actually on Ryan 49 now.
Oh yeah, Ryan 49. That's true. Yeah, and
Yep.
it's appropriate. He goes up to 49 CS.
Ah, yeah. That's, you know, I just time things like that. So.
We had 48 last time as well. So it's all working out as the good spell shield timing.
Well, that's why you pick up the Sivir. Now, the thing is about this comp is that if TT don't effectively shut down the Sivir, this game is going to be hell for them. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on... Huh?
On the river, there was Heru and Junhao both roaming up the down the river and through the jungle towards the bot side.
Yeah, but the wave was crashing in, Sam.
Okay.
I could have kept talking about how actually the Sivir spell shield will be really important against the Vi ultimate. We're fighting for level 6 right now.
They're going to make that fight play happen. Over comes Heru, gets shunted away by that Emperor's Divide. Croco's low, it's a 1-for-1 right now. This fight is an utter disaster right now for TT as they try and get something more. The Boomerang Blade will not be quite enough to claim the kill, but either way, it's still 3 for LNG. The Zenith Blade onto Junhao, who is out of basically all of his summons. Will try and get over the wall here, but where are you running? Little Vi, I don't think there's anywhere for you to really escape to.
Might try and Q over him, gets stunned anyway, and he'll go down. So that ends up being a 4-for-2 2 in bot side. 4 for 2. We're just saying, well, you know, you're going to have to pay attention to these first big fights of the game. TT need a good first fight of the game. They have completely screwed it, Sam. They now have 2 kills down. It's 1,000 gold from the kills at 7 minutes. That is disaster for TT.
I'm just looking at all the summoners that got blown as well. You've lost the flash cleanse on the Aphelios, the flashes off the Ahri, the flashes off the Vi. We'll have a look at this replay again because it got absolutely disastrous.
So, what happened to this Scuttle Crab? It should have been level 6 for Junhao, unless he missed a camp somewhere else. I mean, Smite comes in. Yeah, Smite comes in for Croco and gets that level 6. He gets it early, and suddenly you've got a Cycloning Wukong, and you don't have the Vi ultimate. Really well played from 1xN to take down Harry, so the resets don't become as big a threat from the Ahri, and then, you know, the Azir gets to clean up the damage.
Does that just fine, and then we saw what happened at the back end of the play. It's another kill for Bulldog, who now on his Azir is going to be, what, 2-0, if I remember correctly in terms of the number of kills he picked up. He's feeling very pleased.
We'll see in a second. Feather looking for that hook, misses it, so he won't be able to land that one. This is disaster from LG. You know, they brought the one of my favorite scaling duos in the game, Bring Your Daughter to Work Day, and now suddenly you've got 202 on Azir and 112 on 1xN. So both of those Shriven carries doing quite well. It really still messes me up that that's actually Travis Willingham. It just doesn't sound like him to me. Travis Willingham is such an impressive voice actor because I can't always recognize when it's him. Like Matt Mercer, I always recognize when it's him. Good voice actor. But Travis Willingham, I just don't... it messes with my brain, Sam.
For me, it's actually quite similar to the Mustang voice, just with a voice changer on it, so I kind of get it.
Yeah, but that... No, but like, you know, like Matt Mercer is...
There is a Mercenous cold quality. I will say it took me a while to realize he was Wolf. I didn't realize he was Wolf to begin with.
No, I recognize that immediately. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's really obvious, that one. Junhao, I don't think he knows that Croco is going through his own blue buff. Bulldog, again, sees Junhao heading over here because there's that ward there too. Croco will walk into it. I mean, he can ult as much as he wants. I don't think it's going to matter.
Ult flash away, still has an Emperor's Divide angle.
Oh, it does
get a decent chunk there. I think Junhao still dies, so that does indeed. And unfortunately, Croco's here to make that the 2-for-1.
Oh, Croco cleans up, takes the blue buff, of course, part of that play too. And Bulldog, yes, he dies. Does get an extra kill as part of it, though. He's still got himself 3 Dark Seal stacks, and Haru goes down. Haru's not even able to get himself to his first item. Haru's really out of this game now. I think the Ahri dying twice in the early game, it weighs double. You know, it's not quite the Caitlyn level where Caitlyn, when she dies in early game, it feels just disaster. You know, it's like, it's not 1 kill, it's like 2, 3 kills instead. Ahri dying once, whatever. Sometimes you'll die for the aggressive play. Dying twice and not getting much back from it, this is the point where Ahri just struggles to make an impact on a game.
Not exactly fun at all. And again, you've drafted Ahri Vi for early dominance, early plays. You've attempted 2 early plays, and both of them have been turned around in disastrous fashion. 1xM may now be in danger, sees the run at him, will go, cool, I am going to burn the last of my mana to get out of here.
Yeah, did wonder actually whether TT, they might just clip that wave and see if... I'm surprised the Bulldog managed to trade back so well there, but I guess he has Merc Treads first already. That's a problem. And he even gets the Crystallized on tower. Sheer, while this has been happening, Hao's got himself a natural 10-15 CS lead. And I was saying this before, Nara's becoming the pub stomp LPL top laner. We saw 369 use it quite successfully. Hoya tried it the other day. A lot of players are starting to re-pick up the Nar, just saying, I'm a better top lane than you. I'm going to naturally get myself like a 10-20 CS lead. And if you ever mess up once and get solo killed, you can't play through side lanes anymore. Nar's becoming surprisingly important to the LPL top lane meta.
There's the flash on in alongside the Grandmaster's Might with that counter-strike. So Sheer in a slight bit of bother here, nearly at the Mega. Is he going to get a chance to get there, though? They can't quite complete the kill. And no flash remaining, and Sheer holds onto his. That is some nerves still. And Croco's now behind him, by the way. He could flash ult this.
Well, he doesn't have the ult because he used it in that last transformation. That's one of the reasons why Keshi went in as well. But it's close calculation. Keshi has been probably the best part of TT. We keep returning back to this and saying, hey, this Keshi goes pretty good. You know, last game, Sheer solo killed him twice. Probably not what he wanted, but he did go 1-5. Probably not the, or even less than that. I think he went 1-6 actually by the end of it. But
2 and, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, he did get that last kill on missing, didn't he? But yeah, Keshi, while he's impressed in some level, not had the impact he wanted versus Sheer at the end of the day. It's kind of weird saying, oh, you're playing with the big boys now, or whatever. LNG might, despite their kind of coming from Nirvana, technically kind of classify as that.
We wondered where they were landing, and it's why people like 1xN and Missing didn't hit our versions of All Pro lists, partly because, I'm not going to lie, it was looking very challenging to judge them when all they've been playing against was Nirvana teams. Sheer may be in danger here, actually. He's going to get Flash, Vault Break, and Cease and Desist. There'll be a counter-strike. The Mega Gnar Flash away is very good there, actually.
You had the Tabby, which helped him survive. Crocker does have Triforce, and oh, he can go over the wall here.
Flash for the Q into the Solar Flare. Ryan needs to flash away. It's decent from him. They will still get the kill, and the Feather will fall after. Croco needs to back away and does drop aggro well. Missing dies, but he's happy with that trade.
Still a 2-for-1. Ryan is still losing CS under the tower here. There'll be a Crystallize coming through, and LNG will probably pick a bot lane role quest exactly there. It comes in at pretty much similar time to Ryan, actually, who also got himself that fairly early on. At least there's no discrepancy between that. But LNG, 2,000 gold up from the early game again. They're just destroying TT in the early phases of the game. I think TT have had a better shot at it this time than the last one, because, you know, last game was effectively two dominant lanes, and the other one, which was meant to be a losing matchup, ended up getting solo kills, so...
Yeah, you were ahead, but it didn't feel as though it was as one-sided as it should have been.
Yeah, and kind of your win condition fell apart through that. This is one of those important series. Hang on, there might be a charm at a fog of war.
Missing face checks, but now can maybe look forward himself. And again, part of the problem is Missing's getting to the point where he's going to become increasingly tanky. He's got the free ass boots and Merc treads yet, but that will be coming. Make no mistake about it. And the Zeke's already done for Missing.
Sam, it's Ryan 150.
We are
finally here. Wait, did he die once or twice last game? Died once. So we went to 150. No, so 151. Man, Sam, we forgot to celebrate Ryan 150. We missed it.
Oh, I'm
it's
sorry.
now Ryan 151. Now, but I suppose now he's gone. Any more, Sam, and we'll have more Ryans than the original Pokedex.
That's very true. That is quite a scary amount of Ryans. That's a hook now onto Missing. He's got the Zeke's Aurora going around back, and it becomes Heru looking for the angle. Bulldog throwing down some autos, can maybe look to his damage. That charm goes wide, puts Heru into a horrible spot, has to slide over the wall, and now flash on forward from Croco, who then backs away as well, will earn the flash for himself. Nice Warrior Trickster, and plays happen bot lane. The LNG go cool.
Sam,
ignore.
This is why I don't like Ari into Azir in the pro meta, because if you're the one who's solo diving forwards, the Azir can just stand and fight. He's got the upgraded Merc Treads already. It wouldn't have even mattered if the charm had landed personally. Harry would have just sat there and done very little damage. Bulldog is going to massively outvalue Harry now. I just don't see what Harry does unless he gets a huge snowball. He doesn't have a Dark Seal. Junhao and Harry did try for the early plays. It doesn't work out. And, you know, now you start to see why the Ari's not been picked as much.
Yeah.
Really. Where if you don't get early acceleration plays, you just end up becoming a very mediocre CC bot, occasional, and like a half dive threat. You're not even like a full dive threat at that point.
Yeah, that is going to be a huge deal as Sheer is just running at Keshi. Is he just dead?
Oh, it's going to get close. One more also. Blocked by the Counter-Strike.
But overcomes the rest of TT. The Vault Breaker goes wide. Now Croco's here with the Cyclone. He's got a Trinity Force, so he's pretty scary. So additional ult blown there. It's worth noting. Croco burning that Cyclone partly on the disengage there. But no cease and desist used by Junhao. Box was used by Feather.
This is the Ryan chat. This one is not dying anytime soon. He's going to stick around. I wish good luck to the Ryan 151. Is that Mewtwo in the Pokedex?
I can't remember if that's Mew or Mewtwo.
I can check some.
And it. I've just got the Pokemon rap in my head, but I don't think it's the correct Pokemon rap either. I'm just saying random Pokemon in a sort of slightly American voice in my head in a rapid order. Which just isn't the Pokemon rap at that point. It's like a fake Pokemon rap. But there goes Herald in the favour of Thunder Talk.
You're right, man.
There we go.
Mewtwo's 150. Quite confusingly, Mewtwo is 150. Mew is 151. I would have thought that the original would come before. But
Mew is more mysterious, Alex. And
yeah, they're
beyond the depths of the Pokedex.
They're a mythical Pokemon. Yeah. Slightly different from the legendary Pokemon. Mythical Pokemon have never been. I believe they've never been. They maybe were on. I think they only got allowed in competitive Pokemon for one tournament last year.
Wow.
I want to say. Am I right in saying that, chat? Is anyone like a VGC follower?
So what are the mythical Pokemon like? I'm assuming like Arceus.
Yeah. So stuff like Arceus
Darkrai. Is Darkrai? No, not
Darkrai. Darkrai isn't. No, they're just legendary. But
Giratina then. It's the Pokemon version of the devil.
Yeah, I think Giratina is, but Deoxys is for Gen 3. That's their mythical Pokemon. Gen 2, Celebi, I think it was, actually.
I can see that.
And Gen 1's Mew. The thing about Mew is that it can learn any move in the game.
Ah.
So it becomes really, really busted. 'Cause it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I could just have any move set. Good luck.
Curse Song. Perish Song. Croco gets hooked. Does he care? No, he does not. And now the box comes on down, but I don't think that's going to really delay that attempted Counter-Strike angle back in. They're going to see this, but Croco really does not care. The Death Sentence lands onto Sheer, prevents the immediate Mega Knight. He misses it onto Keshi, actually, which could give this Jax a lot of freedom. That's unfortunate from Sheer. The Moonshot comes across and allows the kill onto Croco. It's a big Moonlight Vigil, but will not lead to any more kills. And Ryan possibly has to be a little wary there. Still 2 kills in favor of LNG as Sheer does step forward for that auto, does get Bounding Eclipsed, and Ryan will get to shove through mid.
It's another early fight which LNG get out ahead. No, this just isn't valuable for TT. The Ahri has died for a 3rd time? Yeah, a 3rd time in this early game. Like, the Wukong Azir scales better than the Vi Ahri anyway, unless you're very far snowballed. When you're very far ahead of the game, I think Vi Ahri actually does very well into late game, because they instantly one-shot anyone on the map. But when you're playing like this, you can see that's just not the case, and now you just don't have the damage. You jump into someone like Rocco, and he just puts in the Cyclone, puts in the Clone, and trying to get through that spinning ultimate is just disaster. It's a good sweep coming through from Bulldog. He's had a very confident game, laned out very well versus the Ahri. Died that one time under turret, but even then traded 1 for 1 there. And now he has the Seekers, because he's ahead of the game. He has upgraded Merc Treads, that'll help versus the Ahri Charm. And he's got the Seekers, which will help versus the Vi Ult. So now Bulldog, not only does he outscale, he's already got to the point where effectively your combo is defunct.
What a horrible way to put it. It's so true, though. Unfortunately, it's looking increasingly frustrating, to say the least. LNG now 3,500 gold up. The only place that TT have got anything resembling a gold lead is bot lane. About 600 towards Ryan, 151, as we have noted. But everywhere else, it is just...
Mew Ryan.
Yeah, Mew Ryan. Ryan Mew.
Ryan Mew. I'm going to have to keep a Pokedex open to see what happens with each one. That's it. That's what we have to do. We have to just count up the Pokemon. Sam, luckily, Sam, we have like 1,000 Pokemon.
It's so true.
So we're probably not going to run out of names for Ryan anytime soon.
Now that we've had a couple years of it, Alex, and I'm doing this basically because the game feels quite over. John Howe at least does take that dragon. He's so dead. Oh, dear.
Wait, Deoxys is a legendary, not okay. What's the mythical Pokemon from Gen 3 then? Do they have
Is it
one?
gonna be Rayquaza?
No, that's a legendary. Because basically mythical in VGC is not allowed. Now I know in singles and whatever they're allowed, but that's not like the official Pokemon competitive format, which is VGC doubles. I thought that Deoxys was mythical. Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that could be considered mythical.
Oh, it is mythical, and Jirachi is also in Gen 3. Right, okay. I knew you gas-lamped me, Blade. You gas-lamped me. I'm slightly perturbed. I didn't think... No,
Alex, it's not gas lamp, it's oil light.
It's who, Blade?
it's oil lighting, Alex. No one says gas lamping.
Oh.
Yeah, why are you oil lighting me, man?
I wanted to test you.
Did you now?
Yeah.
Oh, did you now? Okay.
Why were you trying to apologize there, Sam?
Because I said man.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a bad one. How did I not recognize that? It's me the one that's in question. Okay, oh god.
It's like dude, would you?
Yeah, dude, no, that's okay. Sam, dude is a
yeah,
you know,
that's fair.
I think dude is like a spiritual appellation, Sam. Like the dude from SpongeBob. Oh no,
yeah.
no, the dude was from Spy Kids.
Oh, I've not watched Spy Kids in forever.
I just remember that Elijah Wood was the dude.
The dude.
And then he just immediately died.
Yeah, like immediately, didn't he?
Yeah. It was Steve Buscemi with that one. He's like, do you think God stays in heaven, afraid, terrified to see what he's created?
It was surprisingly hard line for a movie called Spy Kids.
Why is this in Spy Kids 3? Why? Or like Spy Kids 2? I can't remember which one it was there. I just remember it was the one with the thumb people.
Yeah.
Good lines. Anyway, Harold put it towards the mid lane. There was a brief Baron start. They did pull off.
Yeah, there is. I'm just like waiting to see whether Harry's going to regret that choice, and possibly does. Missing Blade out of his Zenith Blade. And that means that TT actually do survive that engage. That's Solar Flare and On the Hunt burned actually just for the box, so TT disengage well.
Sam, I was wrong about Darkrai. Darkrai is mythical. And the reason I thought about that is because Darkrai's special move, Dark Void, could actually be used because Smeargle could learn it. I think we're about to go into the Dark Void here. Feather goes to get a good hook, though.
That's not a bad turnaround, and unfortunately for Feather, he is a little bit heavier than that. Birds of a Feather die in holes together, as missing will potentially go down, in fact does. Rest of TT left very low, and this mid lane turret not having a great time. The charm lands, but the turret falls, and Croco shouldn't die to the turret.
Sorry, I'm still thinking about Smeagol meta from many years ago, where it could learn Dark Void, which is Dark Rise.
Special move, yeah.
It's signature move, which puts like both enemy Pokemon to sleep. And just like random Smeagol, woo, everyone's asleep.
That is quite ridiculous. Did you do that with Dream Eater for like full combo?
Well, the thing about Smeagol is that again, it could kind of basically you could basically learn any move in the game by using its it has that one move which allows you to copy the last thing. So as long as you can just kind of find that one Pokemon, you can learn the move and then relearn the move, which kind of copies things and kind of like get any moveset you want, which was really annoying. However, they then ended up banning Dark Void in competitive, or at least stopping Smeagol for learning it, I seem to remember. But that was a very tough time for a while, Sam.
Was it Wolfie Perish though?
Sketch. No. Well, Sam, very few things are. Besides Wolfie
Perish, yeah. It's just that like I don't remember anything else about that video aside from that
Oh,
cry of
Wolfie!
dismay.
Oh, Wolfie can't perish. Oh, that was so funny. For those of you that didn't watch like that thing where it's like, oh yeah, I don't really know if Perish Song's ever going to be viable again, so I got to try this now. And he actually won the tournament with it. Crazy
So
stuff.
why was Perish Song viable?
Because it was an alternate win condition, and you had some good Shadow Tag users in the game. You need good Shadow Tag users, and you need good Pokemon that can use Perish Song, basically. And also not enough... Hang on, that is a jump onto Sheer.
It was all a ruse. Everyone else was waiting. Sheer not with a lot of HP, though, so we'll actually go down. Bulldog comes across, misses the shuffle, quite importantly there. So this makes his 3v3 a bit more viable. I don't think it's going to be quite enough. Good time to follow Team Els. Welcome on in. That's now 5,000 gold still for LNG. 1 for 1. TT potentially in quite a lot of danger still here as Heru. One more charge to go. Does land the charm, but it's onto a Warrior Trickster clone.
Exactly, it's just onto the clone. And TT, once again, they do get a kill. But at what cost? It feels like they haven't gotten a single play this game with a clean kill. They've not gotten one for free. They've always died, even if they've managed to get something on the return. So now you have a 2-5 Vi, a 1-3 Ari. On the other side, Bulldog is 5-1. He has a full Zhonya's. He's got the upgraded Motreads as we talked about earlier. He's so happy. And, you know, you get the first kill into Sheer. That feels somewhat okay. You've not dealt with the scaling carries. Ryan is a little bit of gold ahead of 1xn and does have 3 items. I just don't think he's going to have the DPS to outdamage the double carry core, which scale very well of the Azir and the Sivir.
Yeah, it's been problematic. It's not like 1xn's falling behind in farm or whatever. I mean, the credit to TT for at least getting Ryan gold. They did that last game as well on the Unara, right? He was one who was securing those kills when they did make those moves, but nothing came for free. LNG are going to pick up this second dragon for themselves. Missing gets jumped on. Don't know how much he cares right now. They're going to throw the On the Hunt to get a bit of a speed away. Do get that Vault Breaker. I think he might end up dying here in the long run as the exhaust comes on down, and that will be a deadly owner. Solar Flare back on the other side. Is that going to lead to anything? No, it is not. LNG do come on over, and is Baron a possibility now for Thunder Talk?
I think, well, I wonder if it might have to be. No, they're not going to go to it. Try to look for Bulldog on the top side. Do they start it? I think they have to. Okay. I think, look, they're in desperation stations. They're down 5k gold. LNG are going to walk over. Ariel being down is a big loss, though, for TT. If LNG actually fight them, this could be a problem.
Rocco's on vision, so they can try and turn it onto him. They do land that. That's really bad from LNG. Baron now takes... or it goes down rather by Thunder Talk, so actually good move from them.
I think LNG, bit of sleep at the wheel there. You know, TT do get themselves a Baron from behind. I thought there was going to be a harder contest. You know, I suppose there were no teleports, but LNG couldn't get into position to play make, even though they didn't have the Ari ultimate. LNG couldn't punish it. Now suddenly TT can get back a lot of the gold they missed. Problem is, I do think they were meant to be somewhat of a snowball comp. They are still behind gold. This would, at best, maybe put them back closer to even. It's not like it's getting them into a winning position. LNG, this is a little concerning for them, though. Giving up a 1 kill on a support should not lead to a Baron like that. They were very much out of position on the map.
And I've got to call it out as well. Like LNG were not exactly was not exactly fast to die there. He managed to wander all the way from river to the other side of his Raptors across the course about 15-20 seconds. That's a fairly decent response time if you need to get somewhere.
It's such as the power of Ryan 151.
Yeah.
You know, they have themselves they've got themselves their mythical Mew. The problem is if he dies one more time, he's back to like starter Pokemon from Gen 2, you know? Like, it's not bad, but realistically, it's not quite the same. Can't learn every move in the game. Hero on the flank there. I don't think they've spotted him.
Gonna land the charm onto Missing. He's still pretty tanky here, and so we'll be fine to move away. And again, this, ironically, they've currently earned about 400 gold from this Baron so far, so not exactly spectacular. And LNG picking up that dragon means that's not around to play for. They're going to try and shove through mid here, but they've got a Sivir and a Azir here. I don't know how simple it's going to be to force them off this turret.
Exactly. They have the Crystallize if they can actually auto-attack the damn turret, but they can't then. So now Baron power play is going to be fine. They're going to push in the side lane, so it's going to be about 1,000 gold up. Did remove a decent amount from LNG. Of course, one of the big things for TT is it just removes the Baron pressure from LNG, so they can't bring them to it and force them into a team fight. TT, not sure how easy it is to replicate that. Going into the Wukong, the Gnar, or the Leona, quite difficult. And as we said, even onto the Azir can be a bit of an issue. You're really praying for missed positions now, because LNG can... One of the big things about this comp... in fact, this actually ties into Lost Returns for you fans of that team in chat. Once you hit mid and late game, you just wave clear quicker. Yeah. And it means that if you have a team comp which can group, you can wave clear and go towards the play much quicker.
Everyone's TPing in. We've got the full Holy Trinity on in as Keshi with that counter strike. The hook lands. That's going to be a fair amount of damage on the Shiro. Just popped. Oh, LNG, that's a problem. You're losing 2.
They're losing 2 very easily as well. The carry's a little bit out of position to defend the front line. But what was that teleport from Sheer? Teleports in his mini-Gnar into 5 people. That's disaster. Now suddenly you have a little bit left time on this Baron, and TT will be able to even up the gold. That is lazy from LNG, and a great punish from TT.
It really was. Now LNG find themselves in a slightly precarious position. Sheer thought he was going to be responding on a good time, but the problem is the double TPs after left them in a horrible spot. And Mikhail's bought time from Feather to get another hook down. It was a great hook that just put Sheer in a horrible chain CC scenario.
I think that missing is also not respecting how powerful the Aphelios is. This, because of the LDR completed, you are not as tanky anymore. They don't get to stop that recall. But, you know, not everyone has a Zhonya's, and Sheer makes a big mistake there. So how does this start? Bulldog's in position, 1xM's pushing out mid lane, they go on to Feather. Immediately Mikhail's, and then Sheer loses his Mega as he comes in. He loses his Mega as he comes in. So he comes in now, and he comes out straight out of Mega into mini. So it's a bad timing from him. Goes straight into a hook. You're teleporting within range of Thresh Hook, which is already a bit of a bray anyway. Sheer, bad timing and a bad position to teleport. Great punish though from Feather. Mikhail's himself gets the hook after. He saves that play.
Fiend Hunter bolts now for Ryan as well, who's going to be really, really dangerous in that first sort of burst window of the game there. Or of his first burst window of his kind of ult, rather. That's what I was looking for. And again, with the fact that your ult can crit now at 100% crit, plus the Fiend Hunter bolts, your ability to kind of get through that initial window of damage is very, very high.
Sam, Ryan 151 might be my favourite Ryan.
He's quite a good Ryan so far.
He's been a very good Ryan, and he's actually really quite fed. He's genuinely quite fed. Can Aphelios just do Aphelios things? That is the question. I mean, on the other side, you know, LNG is struggling to get the engage that they want now. I mean, you do think that if, you know, Sivir Azir gets some big damage down, it should still be a massive DPS check in the favor of LNG, but you know, you see moments like that, Bulldog gets like, you know, one or two auto attacks, and he's actually feeling quite scared there.
Well, he's not got the death cap done yet either. Croco gets chunked, and again, they've gone for damage. Their defensive tools aren't that fantastic, actually, from LNG. Croco's still going over the wall and look to smite still. This won't get there in time.
I don't think he wanted to die. I don't think he wanted to go over and die. Croco's going to walk into Junhao. Warrior tricks it down.
Going to try and turn around. They've actually ulted the clone. What is going on here? And on the other side, Feather's in danger. He's about to go down. The Mikhail's is decent, but there's a flash set in play. The Cyclone knockup forces Hero to flash over the wall. The shuffle away isn't great from Bulldog, but they're still going to go over the wall. Is Sheer now at Mega, but he's not very tanky. Ryan is obliterating them. The Severum Crescendum is ridiculous.
Hang on, the Sivers continue to DPS, and Bulldog is still alive. It's another kill though for the Aphelios, who's managed to peel back onto them. Kashi alive for now. Goes down, but Ryan's still fighting.
Oh my god, that Aphelios is going to be the Quadra. I think he's getting the Penta here.
He's already been denied that one, so he won't get the Penta, but he might get the Moonshot on target. LNG, they lose the team fight again at Ryan 151. The Ryan that was promised. Getting so much damage at the back end. Really punishes LNG after what should have been a one fight.
Finally, Bulldog has got that death cap, and again, Ryan blows flash, but survives, and again, the Thresh Felios is Thresh Feliosing, and that was Severin Crescendo at his finest.
So this is with, you know, Crocker starts out of position, and then they end up ulting the clone. I mean, he was invisible, right? So he only sees him in the bush like that. He tries to do just a bit of a hands check. Sometimes it happens. Like, I'm not actually going to blame him too much for that. We don't see the vision toggle. Crocker goes in for a very good Cyclone there, and at that point, I'm like, okay, you can probably disengage, and you'll have a pretty good time of it. Ult does come down from Aphelios. At this point, you can still disengage. You can still disengage at this point. It is a mistake to go that far because Ryan actually has peel up and available from him. The Severum gives him enough healing, and just the damage which came through from that ultimate before from the Aphelios, and then a little bit of damage afterwards from the Jax, does make it a much harder fight for their LNG.
Yes, indeed, and that is a lot of gold in. The Baron just got picked up in the picture-in-picture. Oh my god, that damage.
That is ridiculous. Ryan 151, baby. Ryan 151. Yet, who needs a Gen 2? We just need the original 151 Sam.
Got a 4th item now on 1xn, so he's getting scary. You did get the death cap after that death for Bulldog. He's been waiting on that for a while. So again, with the Merc Treads and the Zhonya's, very defensive, but not actually the highest damage build from the Azir. The problem is now TT feels like they can actually be quite proactive in their own picks. They've got the damage now from the Jax and from the Aphelios that's really carrying them through these fights.
The Aphelios is the big one. Now, realistically, the Vi and the Ahri are still not really scary. This Ahri is just complete Shambot duty. But now you're into late game, you're not doing the damage, but you have carries which can. And I think that really Sheer and Missing have misjudged their aggressive angles in this game a lot. They've gone into the back end of the fight without realizing they've just run out of steam. You know, if you have all of your skills available, you still probably kill the Aphelios, but and especially now without Flash, yes, he has the GA, but maybe look, that Soulflare goes wide.
Haru is going to be forced to ult off that, though. And again, partly, I think it's just been LNG who have been collapsing slightly more poorly as well than TT, who I think have, generally speaking, been that little bit faster on the collapse. We've seen people like Bulldog and Croco not quite there at the time as we would have liked. It's been a little bit problematic. Is anyone around? No, they're not. So should be okay. And hey, LNG may well still win this game. There is still a world where the scaling comes on forwards. You've now got 3-item Azir. You've now got 4-item Sivir. It's not over yet for LNG. But there's an eyebrow raise about this mid to late stage.
Yeah, I mean, they've still not killed 1xn since the first fight of the game. Now, he is 3k behind, but 4 items is still 4 items, as you were noting. And the Azir, they've only killed him twice. Now, the problem is that LNG's front line for them are the ones which are getting out of position. And credit to TT, I think they're really funneling well around the Protect the Aphelios composition. You know, we thought this game was kind of done and dusted, and then, of course, LNG gave up that 1 kill and were out of position on the map to give the Baron. Felt like a little bit, felt like they were a little bit lackadaisical there. You know, TT, after that first game, we thought, well, this is just going to be a 3-0. This is going to be completely just done. They're getting demolished in lane. They can't survive through to the team fights, but still did come from that middle group. LNG still coming from Nirvana, and perhaps this raises some of the questions about what happens when you do have a team which is typically quite good, but haven't had the best on-stage practice.
That. We'll see how it looks. There's the hook. Is going to be any turnaround? Feather will cleanse himself away. The Mikhail's been so valuable this game, actually.
Yeah, you can see on the other side, though, Sheer is pushing in that top lane turret. Crystallizing mid lane will get... Wow, that's a lot of tower damage, actually.
All the while, Sheer should get that tier 2 and does, but the inhibitor turret falls down. 1xn steps forward to try and threaten the Jax. I think one of the things we're running into is actually LNG's engage options are relatively limited unless you full send us the Wukong, because it feels like now when Missing goes in, whoever he hits is being cleansed by the Mikhail.
Behind them. There's a lot of resets coming through TT. They've split the reset. They don't have any of their carries. Feather and Junhao might both die here.
And this is 30 seconds before Dragon.
Slow doesn't land. Can he get out? I think he might be able to, but that will be Thresh off the table. No hooks anymore, no Lantern. That's a big loss for TT. They're the ones who make the big mistake. Overstaying on the map this time. It was Missing, which gave the Baron earlier, doing just the same.
That was unfortunate for Thunder Talk. Don't get the inhibitor either. They are going to have the Jax split pushing away, and again, he may well just be a win condition on himself. Keshi, and a very strong point of power in this game at this point.
Because Dragon's warning, it won't be Soul for LNG. TT would have loved the chance to get that. So the game goes on. We're really getting into late game now, and the question is, basically, backline carries, I think they're stronger for LNG. You have a late game Ahri who's not really that useful here. But on the other side, I think that Sheer and Missing are running into the problem of, you just get a Aphelios at some point. Missing trying to stop Keshi from recalling that level 20 Jax, 2 levels up on Sheer, as Keshi has been just playing around the side lane.
The other thing is we are running into some of the Croco scenarios. Was up 2.2 thousand gold and then kind of just struggled to realize his lead. He was very, very strong on 3 items on the Wukong, and then didn't really get onto anyone valuable for quite a long time. Got caught once or twice. Had that one nearly good fight where, obviously we saw the clone bait out the Vial.
That's the thing. That was good, and then they overchased at the end of it. That was the problem with particularly Sheer and Croco Chase overchasing at the end. LNG, a bit of a reality check for them, because they, for me, they were pretty firm favorites coming into this. TT only won a single game in Group Perseverance. Now they're up against the wall here a little bit, almost at the Bloodthirster for 1xm. Ryan 3, I suppose, similar on the other side, though, with that BF sword probably heading that way.
Zir level 17 got the Blighting Jewel as well now. He's getting very scary as well now, because I do get to the point where I wonder whether, unless Ryan has very good weapons, he can end up being a little bit outranged by the Azir. I think maybe, honestly, Ryalize might have been useful this game.
For Bulldog?
Yeah.
I think he just won the DP. Hang on, Feather is caught again. No, after such a good game, caught out so easily. Gonna go down again. And I think as soon as one person dies on TT, they really start to feel the heat because they do. Every single member is important for either backline damage in terms of the Aphelios or that kind of disruption of all the other 4 members. As soon as that disruption falls apart, Thresh dies, Jax dies, whoever it ends up being, I think that LNG have much easier time making those engages we said that they'd somewhat struggle to do.
Again, onto Feather, who had been quite hard to pick. It felt like they tried that, and then the Chaos happened, and all those kinds of things. And it feels like, actually, as long as Missing isn't the only person dropping CC, LNG feel a bit happier.
So now we've got 20 seconds till the Dragon. Feather's going to be alive for that. LNG get control of bits of the map, but they're not going to get a big objective off that kill.
That is likely the case, I think, here. GA, as you noted, for Croco. Randuin's for Sheer. Has got the Wit's End and the Starix. Got quite a lot of tenacity at this point to work with. There's the Bloodthirster done for 1xN. Those are some very nasty items. Yes, Aphelios, incredibly strong right now. Problem is also the Jax, worth noting, 4 items, is a big threat. The mid-jungler from TT, I think, a little bit less potent at this point in the game.
Yeah, there is a world where Kashi actually just completely one-shots 1xN. There is a world in which that happens. Teleport coming in, that is that Jax. Do they see him? Not right now. Sivir ult was popped.
Was a little bit afraid there. You know what? I sort of see where you were coming from there. Either way, that ult is down. There is a couple wards to work with here for TT.
The Azir ult is going to see the Azir passive rather going to hold up mid lane a little bit. Good poke from Bulldog onto Heru. Potential jump onto Feather, who's caught again.
Do they want to Mikhail's it? No, they don't. They don't quite turn it around. Akeshi to the back line. That's not bad. 1xN flashes away. They don't get the kill. The Mega Knight is good. Sees the assist buff the way through. 1xN is indeed free hitting. Ryan 3 kills off Missing. The Moonlight Vigil comes across from Ryan with the set from Crescendo. Could be an absolute menace. He's blown up Bulldog. He can still keep going. What about the damage back as Feather goes down? 4m3 has to keep autoing. He's going to lose his trackers. 1xN to the counter strike. He's down. Sheer and Croco with the GA. Sevrum, Crescendo. Onslaught. The GA goes down. It's going to be an absolute mess. Counter-strike flashed away from Crocker with a Nimbus strike away, trying to clear out the way. Keshi's so damn strong. He's level 20. Warrior Trickster. He baits it.
He baits it. He thinks he's gone over the wall. It'll end up being a 4 for 4 in mid lane. Sam, we're here to mourn the death and celebrate the end of the Pokemon Pokedex from Gen 1. We're now on to Ryan 152, Ryan 151. What a wonderful life he had. We're on to Chikorita now, Sam.
Gotta kill them all. He's now on to the next generation.
It's like, wow, we're into a Metallica album now. Incredible. So initially it's another pick onto Feather, but they don't quite manage to... Well, I mean, they clump up. Guys, they see the Jax on the other side of it. 1xN blows the spell shield quite easily there and has the flash. They do see the Jax heading over the wall. It feels like LNG think, oh, we've got to go now because we can't have to catch them off at the start of it. You know, it's not a bad fight. 1xN is free hitting throughout a ton of this fight, but Bulldog gets caught out, and that's where the DPS gets really scary beyond this point. It's basically saying, okay, can a Sivir out DPS and the fellows with GA, with great weapons, whilst also being a weapon, being an item down? And the answer was almost, somehow.
And the answer also was that Jax managed to smack people.
God. That is a 15,000 damage team fight. You know what we were saying? You were saying, oh, can the Sivir out damage?
Yeah.
Yes, actually, they can. That is a ridiculous fight from 1xN. Free hitting the whole way.
It's a 12,000 damage from Ryan 152 now. It's not exactly small there. The Solar Flare lands. That's the hook out. But look at Sheer on the flank. Oh, God. That's going to be a bit of a disaster. Ryan, remember, no flash, no GA. It's going to be a lot harder for him to play out this fight. The Zenith Blade lands. Feather going down. Keshi on the back angle. But that's a good spell shield. Shuffled away is the Jax. Junhao goes in. Kills off Bulldog. That makes it a 1-for-1 right now as Keshi gets thrown away with a counter-strike. Needs to do some damage here. At half HP, Charm goes wide because of a spell shield. Needs to dash away. And Missing is chasing down the Ahri. He's going to fall as well.
Oh, 1xN is just gliding on them, Sam. 1xN, beautiful team fighting from the Sivir. And I think LNG might have just had their last gasp here. The Dragon will go down. Missing might die for the
Protoplasm, though. And Ryan's going to die. Does so. Keshi needs to be a bit afraid. And Crocker's now coming on over with the Mountain Soul on top. And LNG are managing to make these late game fights work. Another boulder toss. Keshi goes golden. But unfortunately for you, your princess is another Takeshi's castle.
LNG will get themselves the Mountain Soul, and of course they're now fighting up against the fearsome Bayleaf, Ryan 153, of course the second in the evolution line. I will keep this going for forever, Sam. I don't think you realize how much of a commitment to the
I know. I just don't have the Pokedex up in front of me, so I'm going to need you for this.
Yeah, I'm going to rely on chat somewhat, actually. But LNG, much better team fighting. They're catching out the first person in the fight much better than earlier into the game. It's Feather, the one caught again, who... this is the problem of Thresh. If you're actually frontlining as Thresh, you're not actually that tanky. You're a good frontline when you can threaten with the hook and kind of threaten CC for CC. Right there, he can't. Goes down. And even though this is not a bad engage on the other side of it, Ryan doesn't actually get the damage down he completely needs. I mean, he has to get Bulldog. That's kind of crazy, but 1xN completely free hitting after that point, and you see the problem of, well, there's one kill, there's one carry to one carry on the other side, really. You know, it is the Civet versus Aphelios after this point. There's more threats onto Ryan at the end.
Yep, there is. And again, missing keeps two people busy, including the jungler. So Mountain Dragon is picked up by Croco. Now LNG back in a gold lead. They're the ones with the Baron. They're the ones with the incredible late game scaling at this point. This game should have been a lot simpler. That kind of failed Baron contest after missing, kind of trundled his way to death earlier on. Kind of started a bit of an unfortunate downwards turn for them. And now TT going to be ruining the fact that they got into a position to potentially win this game and weren't able to really convert. You've got Hex Optics now for Ryan, who's at an insane amount of crit, and Pen, if he can play at those long ranges, this Aphelios could still win you the game. I just don't know how simple
it's going to be. If it's a random one-shot. Yeah, I mean, if you manage to just randomly snipe Bulldog or 1xN, that's what, well, anyone really. I mean, if you randomly snipe someone, it changes things. But the problem is this Harry is just useless. This Ahri is just, it is completely support city. You know, the early fights didn't go their way. You know, Ahri is a very high-risk champion because of that nature, and into the Azir, you do just get outvalued at some point. Tower goes down, base is broken, LNG starting to seep that water through the dam. We are at that, going to hunt for these turrets. In towards the Nexus we go. LNG on the verge here, on the hunt, procced. Keshi, level 20, GA, maybe there can be some miracle plays there. Hopping away to the base is Junhao. The Nexus turret's all four. You have to go flash for the charm. Doesn't find it. Keshi, counter-strike in, will attempt to make the play, but 1xN still firing, and that is a very, very dead YM453. We're all the way up to Bailey, but unfortunately that Pokemon will have to try this gym battle again in the third game. LNG win out game 2, that they are forced to work for it. Yeah, they'll be loading in with Meganium for the next game.
That's the one, sorry, yes.
Bailey was 153. We're on to Ryan.
I tried.
Stick with the time, Sam. Ryan 154. LNG, that's a reality check for them. It's a reality check, and I think that they definitely got a little bit slapped there. I think that that was definitely a game which they could have lost LNG, and I think in some ways, I feel like their hubris around the macro, around that first Baron, maybe should have led to them losing that game. Hello everyone, by the way, for those of you who are funneling into our play-in series for the Knights Rivals, effectively. That's the name of this. It's basically a play-in to playoffs, but Knights Rivals is the official translation of it. Knights Road, Knights Path. My name's Alex, this is Sam. We're brothers. We cast LPL because we really like this region. We really like League of Legends. We like to bring it to you as well. Now, if you're enjoying yourselves, think about dropping a like, a follow, subscribe, even if you're watching on third-party websites and stuff like that. If you'd like to see more content from us and you'd like to support us, you know, at the end of the day, you won't get that on third-party sites if we don't have the original stream here as well, because we do this for free. Now, we like what we do. We really enjoy bringing you the analysis and the stories and the entertainment that we can as well. And there are a couple of ways you can support us, like we're saying, liking, following, subscribing. Just spending your time here does make a lot of difference. However, a couple of extra things you can do as well. We have a couple of sponsors for this month. Well, we have the one in particular, rather. We have Opera GX as our sponsor. Thank you so much for Ave there. Ave. We have, and Opera GX is a gaming browser. It has a ton of customization, and if that's your kind of thing, think about trying it out. Even if it's not something which is you end up finding it's not for you, if you sign up through our free download link, it ends up supporting us, and that's very, very appreciated from us as well. You can see our little new users just down there as well.
You can also just subscribe, guys. That's also what you can do. In fact, I see you out there. The viewers out there. I know there's a few of you that aren't subscribed right now. I know there's a few of you out there. Corey, by the way, has officially watched the channel for 28 days, 9 hours, and 20 minutes. Damn, Corey. That's pretty ridiculous. And then watch time for Troll. That's pretty good going as well. For 0 minutes. Hell, Troll. Welcome on in. This is the start of the journey. This is the journey. Fantastic views. Welcome on in. It's a great first message.
Yeah, just immediately just watch time. Love it. I gotta put my own. How much time have I spent watching my own channel, Sam?
Does it
2 months.
Yeah. Not bad.
That's probably just the amount of time I've spent.
Yeah, that's super fair.
I actually think 2 months, 60 days streaming in terms of solid actual streaming time, maybe. Yeah, I guess so. That's a lot of hours there too, actually. 1xN. Oh my god, that damage is insane. Sam, that's 1,500 DPM.
Yeah, that's pretty good going, isn't it?
That is absurd.
I will say, considering Bulldog was 5-1, only doing 32,000 damage isn't fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree.
I expected better, considering he was the one with the 1,500 gold leads.
He actually probably would have had more use if he'd gone for full tank and went for shuffles, I think. I think there's actually a world in which that would have been better. Went for, like, Leandries, Rylai's, go for the Zhonyas.
Yeah.
You know, just play for that. Yeah, I think that Bulldog actually probably should have picked up way more DPS then. I think you're right.
Either way, that'll be a question for another time. Because again, it was a good start, and maybe if they'd been in a position where he wasn't continually being threatened by things like the Aphelios combos. And they're going to start with these replays partway through the game here.
So
this is where it
after
goes wrong.
This is after the first Baron went down, remember? So this is actually after things had already started to go wrong. Yeah. Hey, Whitebeard, how's it going? Good to see you. Sam, can I trouble you for another coffee
You
if that's alright?
absolutely can.
Thank you. Well, it still might be an LNG 3-0, but that's a little bit concerning.
I mean, good for them on coming back, and again, sometimes you can just rely on 1xn to just murder a team.
This guy is just the way, the truth, and the life, folks. 1xn is one of my favorite. I think this guy. Okay, I'm gonna make a prediction, folks. I'm gonna make a prediction. I think one day, I think 1xn will be the best AD carry in LPL. I think one day that'll happen. Okay, Blade, I'll check it out. Is that a bot or are they? Their account is from 2020. The thing is that, like, the accounts are in 2020. I'm actually not. Is that? Am I wrong? I can't really check on my phone screen that much. Looks like legit overlays, but yeah, they're in the LEC Discord too. I think they're legit, in fairness. Assume has potential too. Assume's been around for a few years, and I think while he's fairly stable, I don't see that level from him. It's being hidden by Discord as a possible spammer? Okay, alright, fair. Okay, I'm gonna put on some adverts, folks. Possible it's a hack? Yeah. Yeah, it didn't show like that to me either, actually. Which is why I was like, it looks okay to me, I suppose. Okay, let's, I don't know, I guess we'll do some, do some of this. Okay, what's on stream? Wait, hang on, is there like stream, what's the, how do you do the stream marble race thing? That sounds kind of fun. I've seen people do that before. Okay. Canoe. There's neon. Famous AD carry neon. Oh, player of the game is oh, hang on, sorry, that's Croco. Sorry, I'll put this back up. Yeah, he's there you go, Croco, player of the game. Nice stats. Sorry, there you go. I gotta show the thing on there. You mean you haven't memorized the words? Yeah, good game from Croco. You know, Croco is one of the most snowbally junglers out there. If Croco's ahead of the game, this guy is very good. What am I doing in Uma as well? Hey, Mecha. Thanks for sticking around. Appreciate you. Oh, we got the new Champions Meet coming up soon. Although I have to say, I'm kind of getting blasted in every Champions Meet, right? Every, like, room match right now. I think it's because I don't have El Condor Passer ult, which actually might end up getting me completely screwed, which is not great. Hey, we passed the level though, at least. I wish they'd tell you the things which you miss. I wish they'd tell you that. Okay, here we go again. Okay, this is going to be a bit of an intricate, this is going to be a little bit of a weird question, but like, does anyone know how many friendship points you need to keep for the anniversary? The anniversary event on Uma? Oh, whatever, I'll be fine. That won't, yeah, that won't be a word, Montes. That's, yeah. Wait, do you not know what that is? Yeah, Blade, I was about to say, let's maybe not let that through. Yeah, let's be careful with that one. All good, all good, all good. It's all good, Montes, all good. We've had some very funny words, almost like break our chat filter for that before. Thank you for your service. I don't know why official LPL streams aren't more common. Because no one's paying for them. This is the problem, right? Everyone, because LPL shares a time slot with LCK, it's not very lucrative to stream LPL. Unless you're like the top LPL streamer, really. So if you were like I Will Dominate or Cage Roll, it's worth doing, right? And even then, they do a lot of LCK. Whereas we're actually getting to the point where we can, but we've had to work at this for like... Well, I've been an LPL caster since 2023, and I did work on the official LPL broadcast, which is, you know, that helped me get a lot of following for this region. However, a lot of people who... yeah, a lot of people who try and work in the LPL, it just burns them out to you quickly. You know, you spend like 1 year here or 2 years here or whatever, and then you just end up kind of running out of energy one way or another. And yeah, I think that it's very hard to keep doing LPL long term. And I've done years and thousands of hours of LPL. Same with Sam now as well, because obviously Sam came in to start doing the streams here in what, back half of 2024, I think it was. So we've done 2.5 years together. So I have an extra 1.5 years on him from official LPL broadcast, but when we're doing things here, he's been here for the entire time of that, like we did with the LJL beforehand. But basically, because there's no official LPL broadcast, people aren't paid to do it. So it means that it's very hard to... You can't really commit 1,000+ hours a year or whatever to LPL to stream it without getting the compensation, really. That is effectively a full-time job at that point. Appreciate it, appreciate you. Yes, LPL English is also a co-stream, yeah. There's like so many streamers streaming LPL. Yeah, there are a lot of small ones though. Yeah, LPL English is also a co-stream. They've just dressed it up well, and it does look good, and they're doing well, and I appreciate the work that they do, and there's a lot of people I used to work with on there, right? But it's also not an official broadcast, which does make it harder to sustain itself. Which means that basically, if you like an LPL streamer, support them, because they actually need the help compared to many other different, like, more funded scenes in esports. Blair lives the EDG coach? Yeah, he is now, yeah. Remember, you have to wait out the lock? Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. The whatchamacallit? Fairies in there. It's fairy. You can just do fairy, easy one. There you go. Yo, why is my encoder going crazy again? Rose, oh yeah, that's true, Angie. What, do you need attention already, Angie? Are you kidding me? You really need attention already? You sure? Angie, it's 9 a.m. You couldn't give me like 2 hours. I get 3 minutes between each game, like 10 minutes between each game. You kidding me? Damn right. Oh, you asked for the rose. Also, I have also just done that, and I'm happy to do that. But, oh god. Okay, we'll get one more round in. If you're quick, we can get one more round in, I reckon. Oh yeah, should be back on stage fairly shortly now. Oh yeah, have you guys seen that 2x KO have started to cut some, lay off some staff? That should, I don't know, man. Like, I think 2x KO, the release has been too slow. I think that they haven't utilized the brand, they haven't really marketed it to League players very well. Yeah, I don't know. It's sad what's happening to 2SKO. I don't think it's a bad game. I just think that it's been very slow, and it also suffers from the problem that fighting games have. It's like I don't feel like I have much. I don't feel like I have much. What's the word? Motivation to pick it up. Not really, because yeah, 2XKO. Yeah, the fighting game which Riot's releasing. Well, has released, I suppose. But yeah, it's definitely had a pretty labored release. I think they only released with like 11 champions or something too, right? And it's a tag fighter, so if every person has to use 2, I mean, you're basically going through most of your, yeah, you don't really get that many combinations in. It's already, I don't know if it's already released, but I think you can play it, right? And I don't know, just fighting games are hard to pick up. If you're not a fighting game player, picking up fighting games is just rough. I don't like playing fighting games, you know? Oh, it is actually launched, right? Okay, I thought it was still like in pre-alpha or something. Roast for Montes? Oh, I need to change music over. There we go, okay. You can play duos, which is super fun. Oh, that's cool. I don't think there's enough appeal to pull from the League TFT pool. This is the thing, right? Like, they tried to make it more easy to pick up as a fighting game, but they didn't make it easy enough to be picked up by casuals. And they made it too easy to pick up, so the purists really didn't like that as well, with like auto combos and stuff. Okay, into the draft we go. And LNG, 2-0 up in the series. I would say it's expected for them to be dominating this series, but the way that Game 2 happened definitely added some questions in. LNG's laning phase, and 1xN in particular, has been absurd. How 1xN didn't walk away with MVP from that last game is beyond me. I think that Sivir's team fighting late game was just incredible. Just incredible. Yeah, Croco had some pretty good ults in the Wukong too, but really I thought that 1xN was the star of the show when it came to late game, free hitting in so many of those fights. So what's been left through into the draft this time? Orianna's the big one I notice available. Orianna, Varus. Those are the two which are very important. There's also stuff like Poppy, which is fairly powerful too. Nope, Sam's singing in the other room. Don't know what he's singing. Just heard some falsetto over there. The Kali band. Huh. I wonder if this angling for that Orianna first pick. Yes, that's gone now. This is Varus first pick. Pretty easy for Ryan 153. Oh, sorry, Ryan, right. Wait, we're on Meganium, right? Oh, I forgot. Are we on 153 or 154? Varus first pick. On to 154. Yeah, we're on to Meganium. Right, cool.
What happened at the end of the game? I got the wrong name.
I just realized that we could have been calling like 369 something from like Gen 2 all this time.
true.
Actually, no, in fact, he'll be early on into Gen 3, in fact.
If we get Namumu, I will be quite crazed out. But John, I'm debating a couple interesting skirmishing picks here. The Pantheon, a possibility. You could just Pantheon
Guys,
Talia here,
what's
actually.
Pokemon 369? What is Pokemon 369? It's in Gen 3, right? It's early on into Gen 3. Or like midway through it, like early mid.
You know what's mid? Talia.
Yeah, by definition, most of the time. Although it used to be jungle.
It used to be jungle.
There was a point where it was played bot lane too. Pantheon Talia bot
They've
lane.
been trying to bring Talia jungle back a bit. I know there were some changes back towards it.
I don't think Talia should go into jungle. I think she's fine in mid lane. I think that Talia jungle breaks the meta, and I think having a champion with a global that is flexible between 2 roles is just not good. I think Talia needs to be in 1 role. We've learned this from the history of balancing this champion. So remember when she was super broken in jungle, they had to nerf her to hell. She fell out of mid lane when she was powerful in jungle because it was just too powerful to have her there in 2 roles. You can't have her powerful in 2 roles.
I mean, out there, Skewmond is begging to the Riot Balance team guys to have it happen because he was by far the best Talia in the ERLs. We'll see where that happens.
Joyo was very good at it. And Razork was the big Talia jungle guy, and thinking about it, he was great at that. So we do have the Misfortune for LNG. Now, this is the answer to Varus, because what happens is you build Sustain early. You go for first item Bloodthirster, so it doesn't matter that you get poked out. You can just sustain up through it. You then have the wombo combo of Missing's Rel. Missing is a very competent Rel player, despite the fact that we don't see Rel as much anymore.
Indeed. The pick combo from TT, very strong. As they...
Scoot over.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna get my
Sam,
line up
369, very importantly, is Relicanth.
Oh!
Careful with your elbow on the head.
Intentional.
I know, which is why I'm letting you know. Malphite now bound away. You know, this is a very powerful trio, though, from TT. Now, I like the Misfortune into the Varus. I like, you know, Rel into Nautilus is a very well-traveled combo. We've seen that a lot. I like Aurora into Varus and into Talia, actually. I think this is pretty good. It's a good laning phase into the Talia on the whole, and it has kill threat onto both the carries of the enemy team. However, Nautilus Hook into Varus Arrow and ult into the Talia combo is someone dead. Now, TT have locked in a very powerful combo here. LNG, they might need to think about locking in sheer Cassante. In fact, I think that TT should ban away the Cassante now, because that breaks the combo. By pressing W, going into your like damage reduction mode and not being able to be CC'd is really important. I think you need to ban Cassante here, and it's gone.
I wonder where we'll end up, because again, it will be LNG with counter pick here. Red 5 theoretically standing by, even if it's in the colour blue. OZ would be very good.
You don't blind pick that.
But it would be risky.
This is rough for LNG.
Yes.
You need something that survives the combo. You either need something that can go unstoppable or is very hard to hit. There is a world in which Kiana's picked up here. There's a world in which that's picked up. This stops a tank coming through from TT. Are they trying to pre-predict a tank? I'll tell you what this does. This sets up for an on-last pick. This is actually not pre-predicting a tank. This is future-proofing their draft so they can pick a tank last pick.
I've not seen a Rengar in a hot minute. It's a fun hover, but I doubt it gets locked in. Junhao was one of our big Neferi enjoyers last year when it was much more popular. We'll wait to see what does get locked in here. But worth noting again, Junhao does love his AD carries when he can get a hold of them, and by which I mean champions that can carry attack damage rather than being one of those bot laners by trade. It will be locked in. Of course, we've seen that in a Neferi top game, courtesy of Flandre. Doubt we're going to see that here today. I mean, strictly speaking, it could be the Varus flex top, but with the fact that LNG are the ones with counterpick, I think that's risky. I wondered whether we might see a Gwen, because I was half wondering whether Sheer was angling for the Gwen here himself.
Okay, yeah, I think they're predicting the tank now. That's what they're predicting. So LNG gave themselves the option to look towards the tank. Problem here now, Trundle has no one to ult, really, in terms of actual damage. I suppose they could throw the Aurora top lane and put something else mid. That's another option that they can go towards. Aurora is good into Gwen. It's very good into Gwen. Do you have another answer into the Talia? I don't love the Yone. So basically, LNG, I think, might have overcooked. I think they might have overcooked a little bit. They tried to lock in that Trundle to maybe future-proof a tank. I guess it denied TT looking in a tank as well. it's a very good wombo combo from LNG, but the actual pick combo from TT, I think, does outvalue it. Talia Nautilus Varus is very, very consistent.
It is, and again, Gwen can be weird into Trundle, especially if you use your skip and slash aggressively. Getting beyond the Trundle pillar can be quite annoying. Similarly, Talia, Varus, Nautilus have been known to be done in by a pillar, but that's one part of Trundle's kit. You aren't going to be able to become that pseudo frontline by pressing R on a big tank and getting all of those resists for yourself. That said, it's still a massive wombo combo there from LNG. You press R on 4 out of 5 of those champions, Trundle notwithstanding, at the same time on several targets, they will die. On the other side for TT, you've got the split push win comp for Keshi and the Gwen, who loves that champion, and then you've got that really crazy pick comp. I kind of agree with you. I think TT have got the more cohesive team comp, certainly got the more simple team comp, I think, to execute on the whole, at least from the laning phase. I think if you do get to team fights in an even state, it's not like LNG's comp is that crazy. Just throw the big AoE circles down at the same time, right?
To LNG, I think the result is somewhat expected right now, quite handily, ahead in this series 2-0. But the way that game 2 happened it did leave us with some questions. TT played well around there, that one mid-game pick to get them back into the game, onto missing, got them that Baron. Do LNG close this out in style, or will they be pushed again onto the Rift for the 3rd time today? Perhaps the last for LNG and TT.
I have to say, I really enjoy the choir opening to being on the Rift these days. I think more games should have cool choirs, not that I'm Halo coded in any way, shape or form.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that league's always had... Oh, they haven't always had a choir, but they've had like that kind of like string music all the time in the background. One extent missing, looking for that first double up of the game, maybe looking for the mount up. Missing, of course, does have that. One extent eating a little bit of damage right from the level 1, but trading it back well and forcing Ryan 3 and Feather a little bit off the wave.
Again, that graph very subtle there. 1% one way, then 1% the other. Well, 2% swing, if you know what I mean, but 1% over the median one way or the other, but giving that slight edge, statistically at least, over to LNG. And again, sometimes those stats can lie, but I sort of see what they're talking about. Like, if you can get to that 1 item mark, the wombo combo at 1 item is very strong. Missing doesn't get the 2-man crash down, but still gets the aftershock.
Almost going quadra kill there, Sam.
Quadra. My voice is not in a great space out.
Sam, I did say you could take first series.
No, I wanted to cast one Xen, I'm not gonna lie. I've missed a lot of his games.
I know, but still, I did give you the option. I want the record to show.
It's true.
Just for your note, if you notice, Sam, as well. If you look over to your left, Sam, you won't get to see this chat. I have opened up the national decks just so we can track which Pokemon are coming next for. Well, currently Ryan 154. Of course, he's Meganium right now. But we're gonna get through the starters pretty quickly in this game if he starts falling behind.
See how much damage the maybe it will be. Nah, it's not going to work. I was going to say a Meganium damage, but it's not really close enough to like a bajillion or a million.
Well, Meganium is one of the worst starters in the game, so the damage is actually one of the problems there, I believe.
It's not fantastic, and it's just a shame because I actually quite like that.
No, I like the design.
Dinosaur.
A lot of people don't like the Chikorita line, and I think they just have poor taste. So.
Yeah, I agree. I don't get me wrong, Cyndaquil is my favourite line from that generation, but I will say Bayleaf comes in second. I just quite like my grass type starters. I'm not gonna lie.
I just have fond memories of Gen 2 in general.
Yeah,
Gold was one of the first games that we had on Game Boy General. We
had
actually shared a copy of Pokemon. Yeah. So we had to like occasionally reset to kind of like have a fresh run for each other.
We were pretty good about that actually. We shared gold relatively well, I think.
Yeah, the one game I remember you getting annoyed about is you playing a Halo ODST campaign and then not playing it for months, and then I reset it and you were upset that I reset the ODST campaign.
That does sound right, because I think it was basically because I was hunting for that bloody achievement.
The audio files?
Yeah, I couldn't find one achievement. It was just like it just bugged me.
Dude, Halo 3 ODST, just having effectively an audiobook hidden within the campaign was so inspired. It was genuinely excellent.
Which is why I was so excited for Hunt the Truth setting up for Halo 5, then it was just such.
Which was fun, but also the problem is like the thing about the ODST one is that it was interactive and allowed it gave you a reason to explore the world, and it gave you a fun reward from it, which wasn't necessarily gameplay related.
Okay, not to get too doom, because put it this way, I still very much love Halo, but I am done with the story. I do not care anymore. The characters I was interested in following.
The one thing which I'm fairly interested in is that there is actually a flood-infected Spartan now somewhere out there.
But where's that in the game? So you're telling me all of these major story beats, not side stories, are in fact not in the game?
Also, like, you know, they're a banished.
Oh.
They're hang on. Bulldogs. Does he have the W?
He's going to have the W pretty closely. Flash for flash.
Yeah, Harry tried to go for that Q flash combo. Does manage to get the flash out to Bulldog, who's even in CS-ish, but now flash for flash. Does have... that's the thing. He hadn't teleported back to lane yet. That was one of the big problems for him.
So he can probably come back in here with, I'm hoping, a Vamp Scepter for him would be the idea. He's sticking around. He really wants that Vamp Scepter.
Yeah, I guess it. Well, he should, with 30 CS, he should have that, I think, on the whole.
He gets to pick up the waves. You know what, Bulldog? You're a real one.
You know, one of my favorite off-screen Halo moments is how, I think it was Jerome on the Spirit of Fire between the two games. There's a flood outbreak, and he beats some flood to death with a chair.
Just has to flash away. That is quite cool. I have major issues with some major plot beats that happen off-screen between Halo 5 and Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
We won't say what they are, because that is kind of major story spoilers. And then they kind of replace said character with just new, slightly differently named character. And I go, you know what? You could have just stuck with the original characters after all of the trauma and journey they went through, and I just don't care anymore. Yeah. Am I bitter? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. This is why I watch the speedruns instead. It allows me.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Let me tell you the story of Burn. Just hang on, Sheer does get the combo there. Not going to get jumped on by John Howe. If he had gone further, perhaps would have been a problem.
We did have... Hang on,
Yeah,
we gotta wait.
Sheer, I think he'll be fine. Hang on, John Howe's sticking here. The E's now down. His W should be back up, so he should be safe.
Does it matter? It might, you know. One extends in danger. The crash down the barrier, the turnaround is really good. The problem is where that damage has gone.
There's no flash on Ryan, the follow-up for an auto-attack or an arrow. 1xN lucky to get out of that one alive. Yeah, basically we went out for food with friends, and I spent the better part of half an hour talking about Halo Combat Evolved speedrunning tech.
It was like, how do we know that Alex may be slightly autistic?
Hang on, don't be outing me like that, my friend. Now, is it obvious? Yes, however. And that's genuine, by the way. That's not just using it as a flash. Then we can flash forwards into the mid lane.
That could be some fairly good damage, and that will be a very good pickup there onto the, not onto the Tilly. I was going to say on the Yone. The Yone got the kill.
Okay, so now we've got some problems. I think, the slight problem in the fact that top lane is falling quite far behind for Keshi. Yes, you do have some ability to turn that around, but if that doesn't happen in a certain time frame, feels like the Aurora's just going to press you out. Mid lane now gets that kill, and you only got the flash for flash. It's a good moment to say, oh, we forced him low. He's still now even in farm and ahead in the kill, and bot lane slightly further ahead as well.
1xN should just pick up this bot side wave at this point, and again, good shove down here. I've been a little surprised that the Varus has been able to get more pressure, but again has gone for the teleport, didn't get the best reset, had to blow the flash quite early. Now you've got the Vamp Scepter, it's really problematic to keep the poke sticking.
It's because of the bush control. It's a lot of it about the bush control. 1xN and Missing managed to hold on to the bush very early. Crocker's managed to go in here as well. No flash on Crocker, remember? Flashed for that mid lane kill.
Pillar onto Ryan, who's now not having a great time. Now the Chains of Corruption force, that's a hook onto Missing, who can crash down away, so I don't think it's actually going to be under that much threat.
Here's going to be ult taken by Ryan. Does secure that extra skill. Now, 1xN's not running Cleanse worth noting, so that is actually quite... Well, against the Nautilus, you don't really want to, but it means that the Varus doesn't have nearly as much threat.
Remember, Croco uses ult down in that bot lane, so Junhao could theoretically look for an invade here. We'll know that his Raptors are going down. Does Croco want to smite his red buff? I think he probably does. Just give up the Raptors.
There's a blue ping now. They see him there now. Yone's walking in a mid lane, trying to time out the minefield.
Does relatively well with that, I think, because from what I saw there, the observers, Croco saw the Raptors going down by pulling around the corner just briefly before going back round, so I had an idea that his Raptors were being nabbed.
Yeah. Coming in Onavia's chat is Heru a liar, but hang on, Missing might go on towards Heru here. Going for it right now. Did have that flash, no flash on Heru just yet, but I think no ult on Bulldog meant that the kill threat was limited. A little low. Q has been stacked up. Quite hit that, I guess that doubled it.
And Bulldog with the early kill, and the fact he's close enough in CS, that's always a problem with Yone, because we've seen Yones that fall behind in lane, die a couple times, blow the flash, just lose all threat. That's not been the case. Ryan is not having fun. Now the Magnus on the other side, it's the dive, the last auto gets it. Well done from LNG's bot lane.
And Sam, we're on to Cyndaquil. We're on to Cyndaquil. Goodbye. Ryan 154 is 155 times now. I have to say, 151 has still been my favorite.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'm looking forward to this new line, though. Again, Cyndaquil was always a personal favourite, so I'm excited to see that.
I have to say though, I played through Gold so many times. I have fond memories of all the starters.
It's true.
You know, Totodale's adorable. He's great. He's just a little guy. In fact, most of the starter Pokemon at first are little guys. Until they start standing up on 2 legs, and I'm like,
stop doing that.
And I'm like, you need to stop. I'm so glad that the Crocodile Skeledirge ended up staying as a crocodile.
Cool Pokemon. In fact,
Cool as hell.
I still quite like Meowscarada, who does end up on 2 legs, which is a disappointment, don't get me wrong, but I still think it's a relatively cool Pokemon. The one I could stand was Delphox. Like, why is Delphox ended up on 2 legs?
Because it's meant to be Kitsune coded. But I'm also like, yeah, and I suppose they didn't want it to overlap too much with Ninetales, I suppose, in that case. But, and Crocker might get the pillar in here to stop the recall.
Might actually,
Now, this is actually a problem because it's okay if you get clean resets and teleport back in time for the wave. At least it's kind of tenable.
way.
Now you've gotten recalled, cancelled twice. That's a full wave gone to... That's a full wave gone to tower and probably a plate. That is disaster for Keshi. It's probably going to lead to near on 1,000 gold difference now.
Feather just eats 80% of his health bar there as well, which is really tough. Finally TPing in. That is 3 plates gone. It's a nearly 1,000 gold lead top lane. Bulldog might be asked to do some shenanigans in mid lane as Harry gets a decent trade there. But I think with the wave and the Spirit Cleave, Yone is always slightly tanky than you think he is at any given moment.
Yeah, I mean, both of them have done quite well at stopping easy farm for that last minion. We've seen Bulldog jump beyond the wave with the E to deny 1 or 2 minions from Heru as he backs off. Same there with the Q threat onto the low health Bulldog. Also getting close towards that blade now is Bulldog. There's a cull on bot side for 1xN. Sheer jumping away from Keshi, who is again very far down in terms of gold. The ult's coming through from Sheer now. Doesn't land the Q though.
Doesn't at all. It's a decent chunk onto Keshi nonetheless, who does have the needlework, but Sheer gets another crash in. The bullet time onto Ryan, who eats most of his HP bar. Bloody hell, son. They're going across. If you're going to double up across this, the exhausted late and 1xN in the 1v2 just says, I've got this.
Says, come back as Quilava next time. See if you can do any better. Ryan 155 has left the stage and we're on to 156. We are committing to this bit, Sam. God damn you. 2,700 going on 800 gold now for LNG into the lead. This bot lane laning phase from 1xN and missing has been disaster for TT to deal with.
And John Howe again on this. Nefari's just not really found an angle. Got into a couple bushes. Didn't manage to make their play happen top lane. Got a Raptor camp away, but has got nowhere to play from. Pretty much all his lanes are getting shoved in aside from mid, which has been very back and forth.
John Howe might walk into Croco here. It will be a 1v1 for now.
They are going to start coming on down, and I don't know whether Croco wins this. He's going to subjugate, smite for smite, overcomes Keshi, look at the needle. There's a blast code available, the Weaver's Wall coming. That might make things a bit tricky. I think probably a dead Croco as a result.
There's the Talir ultimate, important. Bulldog couldn't cancel the Talir there. His ult was on cooldown. Teleport coming in from Feather, who misses the hook.
Does miss that hook. I thought that might be for a second, I'm not going to lie, the Varus, because none of the pictures were up, but I thought if that Varus is a TPing, I have got problems. But missing, skip chunk there. Bulldog unbinds his soul, gets a decent chunk there onto John Howe. Won't find anything more. At least TT now on the board.
Yeah, first kill of the game. It was a nice 1v1 from Junhao to open up the angle for the Talir to fly in. Sheer walking towards Keshi, flash away from that Q. This Gwen is not having a good time, Sam. Once again, just the laning phase of LNG has been one of the most powerful weapons. If they get ahead in a game, they're a very scary team. I think particularly, 1xN from ahead of the game, we know exactly what he can do with the gold lead, but particularly also, just the rest of the team. Normally we look at Croco actually when he's ahead of the game. Things become very problematic. Maybe, though, with that in mind, with Croco also being very poor from behind the game, maybe that can be an angle for TT with Junhao, as you were mentioning before, one of our best Neferi players in the league in 2025 from last year when he was on Ultra Prime. Perhaps he can make some damage happen here.
I think the part of the problem is, of course, Keshi blows his flash and burns his ult, trying to chase down Croco. And again, that was effectively 3 flashes across the extended play there, plus a TP from Feather. And you got Croco, but at what cost? Like, it's not been very simple, and it hasn't stopped the problem points, which is a 2k lead for a Misfortune, who I don't think is going to be that simple to bring down this game, actually, because there's going to be a lot of very scary AoE ults to get through to get to her, nor is she the sole threat, which again has sometimes been our issue with MF comps in the past. Plus, I think Sheer on this Aurora has had a free laning phase, and that is never a good sign for an Aurora.
Yeah, Omni, I completely agree. I had the same read from draft as well, where actually TT have a very good draft pick comp later on. You do get Nautilus, Talir, Varus, very good ability to get that first kill. That, of course, unlocks the Neferi as well, who could also jump in for that first kill. And I just don't think with Croco having no tanks to ult. I don't think he'll survive those plays. Junhao might jump towards Sheer. He does have that ult, probably safe in top side.
There's the depth charge, the seismic shuffle.
There's
This
a
could be a
fight
good
top
chunk.
lane.
There is a fight top lane as well. Keshi and Junhao trading. I don't know how this one's going to go. In comes the Hound's pursuit inside the hallowed mist, and they just pop Croco. You called it out. He's not damn tanky in these 1v1s, and they do have the burst with the Shojin. Junhao left quite low here, but will not go down. Good pick from Thunder Talk.
Croco's behind the game. That's a win condition for TT. We haven't seen much of it from LNG this split because, well, they've been in Group Nirvana, not exactly against the stiffest of LPL opposition. Ult away, afraid of that kill combo coming through. Heru playing quite well in the 1v1 versus Bulldog's been competitive there. Ult into 1xm, but he's got Bloodthirst. That doesn't particularly care.
It doesn't. There's another plate going on down. And again, I'm not really sure what Croco was supposed to do there the moment he's the one that is jumped on. And again, I think some good hallowed mist time in there immune some of the Aurora damage. So I'd have to see the replay to have a full oversight of that. But it is just not an easy Trundle game, I think, in general, is what we're talking about here.
Hang on a second, I'm just going to hop back there. There's a question in chat about the next series, because we've got EDG versus OMG coming up after this. People asking, well, you know, are EDG clear favourites? In my mind, yes. I think that LNG are the only team from Nirvana who are really a threat. Actually, 3 out of our 4 teams in Perseverance were actually quite strong in EDG, and then NIP and WE, who we saw play in the last few days. NIP beat IG, and W went to 5 games against top esports. EDG were looking really good at the back end of the split. If they come in on similar form to the back end of Group Perseverance, they should also be a team which can contest with even the bottom Ascend tier teams. So going up against, you know, a struggling Nirvana team, in which OMG they were very lucky to make it over LGD, actually. I think that the EDG are coming in as quite clear favourites to that second series. That being said, I mean, LNG obviously coming into this, the more interesting question for me is actually, okay, we know actually now where the other Perseverance teams lie in regards to Group Ascend, blah, blah, blah. Where does LNG, this kind of big fish, small pond, where do they land in this equation? Clearly better than TT. Are they actually as good as the other Perseverance teams? Does that mean that they can compete with the Ascend team? This is going to be a pretty tight race for the back end of playoffs, actually, because what we have, 3 slots to decide. Top Esports took one of them. There was NIP that took the other. Now we have IG or LNG, realistically, potentially taking that third. And of course EDG as well. One of those teams has to get it, and then the other 2 have to get stuck in Nirvana. That is actually a really harsh scenario for the other 2 teams.
There is a real world here where someone like IG ends up descending all the way to Nirvana, which would be entirely wild.
Dude, if Rookie has to play in Group Nirvana, I might, I don't know, pour one out for Rookie.
Yeah, and you don't drink.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Sheer's going to get himself the topside tower. Worth noting that the top lane gold lead had effectively gone to nothing because of that kill from Keshi onto Croco on the top side of the map. Croco.
That's a flash from Hero. I think he's going to be in danger here. He doesn't have the minefield anymore. Requires a good dodge there on that Q3.
And if that Q3 had hit, that would have been probably death at that point. Missing should be safe for the Blast Coat.
Just be a bit afraid. He's trying to try to wait out the ult from Junhao because there's a world we get chased after that. All the while Croco is going to take this neutral objective.
He is trying to get himself something on the map. Junhao trying to walk down with Feather. Bulldog quite carefully using that E to go up towards that wave. They realized the threat he was under with the jungle support roaming over towards him. Missing isn't going to get hooked there.
Feather spaces the Nautilus well there. Doesn't go over a chase. The Eviscerate does go on forward. Bulldog and Bites Soul trying to chunk out Junhao just a little bit here. Not lead to too much as yet. And Missing will crab rave briefly. And that'll be it.
Oh yeah, Missing is a bit of an emote spammer.
He is.
He's a bit of an emote
not
spammer.
113 levels.
Well, I will say Wayward was our version. Come on, let's keep it in region. Let's keep it in region. Wayward was our emote spammer. Potential jump onto Junhao. Does have the W though. I mean, Neferi's quite hard to catch.
And what about the blue buff smite steal? Over comes the Weaver's Wall. Going to try and pull the pack and make this one interesting. Croco is Missing. Potentially got a lot of danger. They can get Missing out. And now they can turn this around. Junhao's had to back away. Heru's in danger. Has no flash. So that means Croco is running at him. And 1xN has donated another.
So it's a 1-for-1 because Missing also goes down. I believe the bleed got that. Was it the Varus or was it?
I don't
know. Okay, I didn't see the actual kill feed from it. Tell you what, with the new overlay changes, I sometimes miss who actually picks up kills a little bit. Harold's going to go into mid lane. Don't think there's going to be an attack on the dismount. More gold to 1xN because he's going to get the tower kill there as well.
Ooh, had to back away there. Does so. And Bulldog's going to get the bot lane turret as well.
This is where the game falls apart. I actually thought that TT were quite competitive up until this point, but the 1-for-1 leads to a 2-tower kill. The top one was taken by Sheer in the 1v1 earlier. this is where I think the game falls apart a little bit. Now, yes, TT have a very good kill combo. If they get that pick combo, it's very powerful for them. But they've just fallen behind a ton of gold. And now the problem is, you're behind in those outer turrets, and that comes through from this fight, right? That now when you approach the map after this point, Misfortune's going to shove and roam. Talia and Yone, the Aurora and Yone are also very good at that wave clear. You're going to get a million people coming in for the wombo combo at every turn, and you're behind on the map because your towers are down first.
And it was the bleed that claimed the side of Junhao by the missing by the side by Junhao. He's now got the Black Cleaver. You know, this Neferi could still be a carry threat here, and I do think there is a world where, particularly if members are caught in 2v2s or 1v1s, can be very, very threatening. I do get a little nervous now the fact that Yone is not behind, is getting to play the mid game from a lead. Not that usual these days, and 1xN is so strong. When the Misfortune doesn't need to ult to threaten you, it's a bad time for you in general.
I'm looking forward to Ryan 248. I want to see what happens when we get Tyranitar. It's kind of crazy how Tyranitar. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for, folks. Now the problem is he needs to die a lot for that to happen. And if you do that, look, not that we're trying to manifest anything particularly, but if it does end up dying that amount within like a year, he might actually just get benched.
That's so true.
How much is hang on, flash forward, flash of flash, 1xN not taking the chance there?
Probably wise with multiple members there. That would probably have led to Talia and Neferi full sending on you. Still, that is a good flash to earn. Here we go. Fight around the Dragon, 3,000 HP. Junhao can look to get in with the Hound's Pursuit. Down to 1,000 HP. Will be a smite fight. One by the Yone. Missing will die as a trade.
That's going to be ult over the back of the pit from Bulldog. And you can see that combo from TT is really nasty. Now, Missing is going to die on repeat if this is the way that it's going to work out. And the problem with the Rel, and one of the reasons why we see much less of her nowadays, she is just squishy. She is quite squishy for a melee support. You have little bits and pieces. When W's used, Crocker pops the ult.
This could be a bit interesting between worlds. The bullet time is
not great. It's not great. It hits nothing. It's a bad bullet time. Good damage there, though.
That's big damage back. Bulldog has got the Immortal Shield Bow. That one ends up stinging. A good splitting apart there from TT.
It's a bad bullet time from 1xN. I don't even think it gets any waves on target. I think it does actually functionally 0 damage. Gwen W was up and it was out of range on the other targets, I believe. So 1xN, not great from him there. Need to see him use that gold lead a little better. And on the other side as well, on the same team rather, so on the same side, Croco, I think he's playing with his life very, very riskily there. He could have gone down quite easily in that fight.
Be a bit problematic, and again the gold lead not extending too much here. And LNG games in a row now, not being perfect in these mid games, it must be said. Playing to threaten nonetheless, and be able to come towards something like a bit of a stutter there on the feed there. Baron being.
I'm just gonna quickly refresh it just in case we had any issues there. Okay. Almost Infinity Edge for 1xN. Very, very happy. Bulldog has that shield bow, wants to dive into the enemy comp. Of course, when you're diving into a Talia, blah, 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 you need to make sure you got a little bit more survivability. Now, Tempest talks about some different Yone builds. There were some different Yone builds for a while. There was one where you could go towards, you could actually go towards, what was I going to call it? The tank ult cooldown item, Zeke's. That might also have no space as well. You can shift over all you want, but I also have long legs. Oh, God. 1xN, waiting for those components. Once he gets in Infinity Edge, those bullet times will definitely hurt even more. Kashi getting jumped on.
He's going to go down, I think. There's not a lot he gets to do. There's a decent flash. The autos come on through the turrets enough. Good work there. Just about gets out.
Yeah, Croco, he's playing as though he's 3-0 and he's 0-3. This is the problem of Croco. Goes way too deep. Junhao can just get in range for ult, and I think Sheer will die.
He will do. And then there's 2 members dead. Can you think about Baron after that? Can he get in range for the ult? Surely can. Flash away. Can't see him yet, and that's become problematic. Junhao speeding up. There's just about get in, and can't manage to get the weirding out. So it does cost the flash, but it's done.
He even blows the flash. Sheer blows the flash. It's a massive overinvestment. This is the problem with Croco when he falls behind the game. He just doesn't realize. He's the MLXG kind of archetype, you know? When you're behind the game, you gotta get yourself back into it. And then you gotta use your advantage when you're ahead of it. This guy will just never find a fight which he doesn't like. Gives a kill over towards Kashi, another one towards Junhao in the retreat from Sheer. I don't think they'll be able to stop this recall.
Be close. I think they might be able to try. Shattering Strike.
They
do. And now Keshi's dead.
Oh, he's just dead now. Keshi just got such a good play. Dies at the back end of it. That's a big mistake from the top laner of TT.
It is. What happens in mid lane as a result of the bot laners being away? Over comes Croco. Weaver's Wall. Croco, reminder, has no flash. He's going to get jumped on. I think he's just dead again.
Oh, dodges out on the knockup. Can Bulldog get any extra CC? And no, Croco goes down again. 0 and 4 for the most snowbally of snowballs in the jungle. Croco dead for a 4th time.
In fairness, credit to TT with a very good collapse of the Weaver's Wall there to make that play happen, at least in part. They do get some good angles there to force that onto Croco, who I think was trying to help defend that mid lane. It's not like I don't understand the thought process there, but TT seeing the weakness here. What does a flashless Trundle with no one to ult look like in these, what, 1v4s?
Yeah, and we have the issue with that draft there too, but Croco chose to use that flash in that bot lane, and now the problem is, if being a flashless Trundle is such a problem, why are you using it on low percentage players on a side lane? Why is that what you're choosing to use your flash for? Feels like a massive mistake. Junhao on the other side, very fed on the Nefiri now.
That he is. Infinity Edge done for 1xN. Got Dragon in 30 seconds. It'll be sole point for LNG. And again, they're still holding the gold lead, but again, it's not really expanded, at least in part because I think up and jungle there fumbling just that little bit.
Yeah. We've definitely seen Aurora's win early lane, and then a couple of kills happen in the lane, and the gold lead just disappeared. Now we've got Hang On. Nothing happens in mid lane there. Junhao presses W. Annoying that Nefiri can do that. 1xN does have the Infinity Edge now, so a good bullet time. Completely shreds this game open again, but it is actually playable for TT in a way that perhaps it wouldn't have been if they hadn't got those leads in top jungle. It felt like that early lane was so disgusting for TT to deal with. Trying to hold a court in the river now. Try and blot out that vision, fight around the dragon at spot.
Next one goes on, and that's a decent bullet time angle. Ryan is dead. We are on to Typhlosion. Sheer now coming across the veil, looking for more. The twofold hex can look for another pullback. Harry's coming to continue running away. Just about survives, but it means he's not in the fight.
And that's going to be the dragon to LNG. Keshi jumping forwards with that needlework.
Oh, they're going to try and turn this back around, but missing crashes down on the way. Keshi continuing to try and snip away, but the shattering strike means Bulldog brings down the Gwen.
Gwen goes down, Feather flashing away to it. I don't think it'll save him. Feather goes down, and LNG find the fight they need to break open the game once again. Harry teleports in, but all it is to see the remains of the battlefield, really. That's going to be third dragon to LNG, and that threat of an Infernal Soul later into the game. TT, they get caught out by missing, and that bullet time we were just talking about coming over with 3 items. Junhao can't look for a steal. TT, that might be the fight which ends this series.
Oh, finally, LNG get a team fight. Their comp's all about it, and they've just not been allowed one. This one happens.
So both carries are stood together. That's already a big problem. Ryan has to flash away defensively at this point too. Folks, Yagao said it best. Never stand your carries together. Heru and Ryan both stand together, and it's just complete domination. Missing finds the angle. Credit to him. That's a very good rail engage, finding out both carries at the same time. And yeah, Keshi tries to pick up the damage afterwards, try and get a reset for Junhao, who is very fed. You're playing with AD carry down at that point. If you lose your AD carry first in the fight, you lose team fight.
Twin picture, there's been a between worlds happening. Looks like there has been a little bit of a fight. I don't think anyone is dead by the looks of it.
It was a 1v1 in top side, so Sheer jumped in. Harry managed to channel the ult before he took any damage, so he got out to safety.
Haru looks like he also got his ult off somewhere in there as well.
That's what I was saying.
Oh, sorry, I thought for some reason I
so
had
basically,
Keshi, yes.
Talia's ult won't activate if you take damage, so if you activate it as you see the damage incoming, you can still fly away to safety.
Just about gets out from that one. Still, significant gold lead increase there for LNG now at sole point. Haven't taken Baron yet, but are in an increasingly dangerous position. I'm also looking at Bulldog's inventory and seeing the makings of an Infinity Edge not far off. Probably another 5 minutes and he'll be there himself.
Well, he doesn't have the BF sword yet, so he doesn't have the most expensive component. But yes, everyone else is starting to... Well, I say everyone else is getting towards 3 items. Actually, it's mainly just 1xN who's got really far ahead. Yeah, he should get it at some point soon, though. You're right. Baron started now. Now, TT, do they have a way into this? Junhao can always hop over, has that ult into the pit as well if needed.
Trying to turn on to Junhao, be forced to call the pack briefly. Again, they're pulling off, they're happy with the TPs earned, and backing away on this one. Baron de-aggros, and they'll take that teleport.
Yeah, no point in flipping that. They threw that risk a little bit in game 1, I think it was there. They got away with it, but you don't really want to play with that. Mid lane down, the turret's going to go down. Croco,
he's got the subjugate, needs to pop it. He's trying to catch someone overstepping. There's a Weaver's Wall as well, and Missing's now in danger. What about the turnaround fight onto Feather? He's not taking that much damage, and there is the kill onto Missing.
Okay, so that's one for none. Hang on, TT might just go for a Desperation Baron. I think they can go for it. Croco's still low, remember? And he has no ult. He has to go back to base. Big mistake around LNG, for LNG around the Baron. Again, you're playing around a bullet time and Shear's combo.
What on earth happened there to have Missing caught out? LNG, bad retreat back towards that one. The bullet time comes across. That makes the Baron a bit more interesting. Bulldog goes in, does not get as much as he wants to, and gets caught on the wrong side of the unravel there. Now they can go between worlds. They're going to get some damage down the back end of this play. The 3v5 is scary. Heru needs to leave, needs to reset. Croco stepping off was beginning to bonk people's heads. They are trying to leave and get out. Is there a teleport back angle for Heru? Yes, there very much is. This gets interesting. Croco can look to interrupt.
Shear doesn't have that ultimate now, though. Shear missed the between worlds time. It's a bloody giant circle. Doesn't get any damage down. I think 1xN thought he would go in for the same damage at the same time, but Shear just doesn't press the R button, and suddenly that means that TT walk away with a great pick onto Missing. Croco was low HP, and they get away with the Baron. Once again, LNG have had a couple of worries around this now, particularly Missing and Croco, the ones getting caught out at this crucial point in the mid to late game.
Well, exactly. Game 1, Game 2 rather, I could somewhat forgive it because Missing took for absolutely ever to die. So Missing is on the flank angle here. I think he just gets split off. Yeah, he's trying to threaten Junhao. He's got Bulldog around, but the Weaver's Wall is superb, and he crashes down the wrong way.
Yeah, and no one else is in position to do anything. Very quick reset, easy kill, and suddenly that's netted them a Baron. Missing.
Yeah.
Now, I think Missing's had a fairly good split, but I think that these couple of mistakes in this series are definitely giving some worries. Red buff secured by Croco. And, you know, you look back to that Baron contest afterwards, you know, 1xN and Shear not comboing up very well with their ultimates after that point. You would have thought perhaps with that damage they would have been able to find a fight even with the support down. To worry now, they're not actually even that ahead in gold, or at all really now.
No, they are not. At least the Infinity Edge now done for Bulldog. He can be pretty scary. You've got a third item for Shear, but again, you need to hit people, and this is a slow burn build. It's not a burst build from the Aurora.
Well, funnily enough, I actually think it is. It's just definitely better at that tank killing as well. It's one of those things where the base damage gets so amped by the mask stacking from both the Riftmaker and the Leandries. You'd be surprised how much of a one-shot can bring in.
To do that, you need to stack the masks up to get that to trigger some of those additional amped damages. Missing to get chunked there pretty heavily. So TP behind there very much is. Watch for the between worlds. This could get spicy. There's a burst. There's the bullet time. There's the between worlds. And Heru says there is a trip to the funeral home. Keshi needs to throw out some needles. Will that be enough? I think acupuncture sessions will get you one, but no more. And the Baron is swiftly stifled.
Junhao jumping away from Croco. This will level up. They could actually look for the kill here onto the Trundle. Pops the ult.
I don't know whether they can. Look at the chase down. They're running away.
Not for now, because I think they're afraid of Shear coming over. Ult comes in. Feather will get the blast going out to safety. Croco does take a lot of damage from Junhao. Junhao might be able to kill with the ults if they split apart too far. Dragon going down, though. That's Infernal Soul for LNG, earned by the teleport flank from the Aurora. Shear winning that fight really heavily for LNG by getting onto the backline. Huge damage from the Aurora on the flank.
And all the damage of the Baron is undone. Infernal Soul, the Wincon is in. You've got 4 items now for 1xN. The Quicksilver Sash in for Bulldog. It's not getting any easier at this point. Have a look again. 2 people reset.
Yeah, was the one person reset.
Sorry,
it was the Nautilus. The Nautilus ended up resetting.
Yeah, she cancelled his, yeah.
Yeah. So it was the empowered recall. They don't get synchronized their recalls, and Shear just goes in for big old combo on the back line. Heru loses half his HP, and this is what we're saying about kind of just, look, Aurora is just Aurora. The base damages are so high that even if you're building what is normally a slower burn build, you still one-shot people, by the way. Shear great damage from the triple mask build of the Leandries Riftmaker into the Bloodletters. It's not the Ludens or the Proto-Ult for sure, but it's still really, really high burst damage.
That's what it needs to do there. Across the entirety of that fight, LNG with 3 Infernal Dragons and the Soul to their name will be really hitting hard at this point.
I mean, once you get the Infernal Soul in, it's just random bit of bullet time kills you, random Aurora combo kills you. It is very difficult for TT to survive the initial entrance into the play now. We haven't really seen Bulldog do that much this game. I know he's 4-1, but I feel like he's kind of been a bit of a passenger this game. But now he's suddenly, you know, Infinity Edge Infernal Soul Yone. Yeah, TT will just pop whenever they go into the play, which is a problem because they're the ones which are meant to be looking for the pick. If LNG just turn around and just smash him, I just don't think they have the HP to withstand that.
No, I don't think they do. At least Croco now with the Spirit Visage isn't dying quite so freely to the Talia and the Gwen. You've got 3 items on Gwen, in fairness. You've got Dawn and Dust, Nash, Riftmaker. There is a world where late game Gwen, late game Gwens And again, it is Keshi who is probably, as we've seen, TT's best player over the course of this split. Junhao on that Neferi, though, is the one with the lead. Can still theoretically carry up 4 items as well, especially if he can catch someone on that re-engaged, like, or someone split off. You do have a better chance in those sort of pick moments, those 2v2s, those 3v3s.
He's 2 levels ahead, level 18 to level 16. Junhao is scary. He hasn't died this game yet. Credit to Junhao, he's really trying. Of course, a reminder, folks, if TT lose this game, or any game in this series now, if it were to go beyond this one, they will find themselves in Group Nirvana next split because they failed to make playoffs in this one. Next split, there will only be 2 groups, not the 3. And the teams which don't make playoffs will make up Group Nirvana. And they'll have to go for another cycle of, what was I call it?
Pain.
It's
Reincarnation?
Yeah, cycle of reincarnation. Yeah, to see if they can come back to the top, of course. And then, of course, remember, in Split 2, if you finish bottom 2 in LPL, you just don't play Split 3. You basically, your year will end in, like, May or July or something like that. Very early on into the year. I think OMG had something like 7 months between series.
That's ridiculous.
Between last year and this one. Between LPL series, they did play an LDL a little bit towards the end of the year.
So thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. Anyone else who's not followed yet in chat? Hit that follow button. What are you doing?
Yeah, we're not actually below stooping and begging, folks. Follow us, please.
Please follow. In fact, you know, you guys could be showing us what Twitch Prime looks like. But I've never really seen a Twitch Prime.
Guys, what's a Twitch Prime? I'm a visual learner, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a visual learner, exactly.
To one extent, really scary here. Almost. Well, he's got 1 item off full build there. Thanks for the follow. We appreciate you.
See, it works.
Like half.
So what are you doing?
Like I said, like half of it is a joke, but almost like.
No, it's not. Yeah. I'm not joking, guys.
Yeah, okay, Sam's not joking. Maybe I have like a slight. Maybe it's Twitch streamer finds a tiny bit of pride he didn't. You know, they didn't realize that they had.
I will shamelessly show. Like, guys, hit that follow button. Please subscribe.
And a reminder, folks, we're actually streaming on 3 different sites right now, and if you're watching on any of them, feel free to join us on any of the ones too. This one is looking like an LNG sweep at this point. TT, they have to play so defensively. If they missed up once, effectively someone just explodes. Let's go down. Bulldog has enough. Well, Bulldog, I don't think they put the blue trinket down now. They had to reset for wards, though, I think, which means that they're not going to be there to contest.
You don't have to say, I'm not coming over. It's going to be too much of a hassle. We're giving this one up. There we go. Baron's down. Missing. May end up in a slight bit of bother. But again, does a decent job of preventing any shenanigans from Harry. That'll be the end of that.
Junhao farming on the other side of the map. TT just didn't feel like they could jump in. So what does TT do now? Hope for a miracle pick. Hope to survive through to Elder. It's the only way they can get back into this game. But, you know, what happens if LNG, if Missing or Croco misstep again and they die before the next big objective, that Elder? It's playable, I suppose. And actually, Croco is actually alone at this point of the map right now. But however, one extent.
Young whippersnapper dragons.
Just over the... Oh my Jesus Christ. That is a whole lot of gift subs. Oh my God. Croco is not going to get caught out there. That's 2 zeros on that, Sam. That's 100. That's that's not even the
What's
one.
Pokemon 100?
I will find out.
Thank you so much for that, guys. Again, God bless. Appreciate you all for looking after us there. That is
Sam,
incredible.
I said I'm a visual learner.
I know. We just got learned visually. I've learned so much. Junhao might be learning quite a lot here as well.
Junhao, he's the Fed member. He needs to live. Just about survives. Good bullet time. Great damage back.
Oh, they just can't stick around anymore. They try to dive through that corridor. That's just not a fun place to be fighting into a misfortune.
Oh my gosh, TT. 100 is Volt Orb, Sam. And, well, I think we just saw Explosion. Well, actually, no. It would have been TT that cast, actually. The ones which lost all their HP. But still, Explosion definitely did occur as those bullet times waves hit the enemy team. Hang on, ultimately that top lane there does get catches the Talia.
Oh, she's got gold. She's got a flash, but look where she's flashing behind. Just about gets away. I saw Croco behind, but again,
Missing's died. Missing did die to Ryan. Ryan ended up killing him. Not sure what happened in mid lane. So actually, despite the fact that LNG have the Baron buff and the Infernal Soul, it's Missing the sole casualty of the fight.
I want to see what happened then. Again, don't get me wrong, the Rel has made some good plays, but has been caught out a few times here. And I will say again, alongside Croco, they are the prime targets this game. So there you go. Was killing blast cone angle.
Got caught out by Keshi and by the Missing. I have to say, I think, like I said, I think he's had a good split on the whole, but Missing needs to shape this up. He's 1 and 5.
Elder.
And he's now dead for Elder. They now actually have a 4v5 at Elder. There's 10 seconds till he comes back up. I think he'll be back in time, and I think that with Feather resetting, it still will end up being a 4v4.
That is just... yeah, it's a 4v4 with the Elder.
There's a lot of flashes just got blown as well. Heru just burned his, but I think also Feather, the reason he's low is he got popped out by something.
Okay, Yone ult's coming up in 5 seconds. Sheer on the flank. Worth noting that Keshi is actually ahead in gold compared to Sheer now, but that's a lot of damage back onto him.
Youch, that Sting's missing now. Back up, can maybe jump onto Keshi here. Croco also threatening with that pillar. The Weaver's Wall's going to come across and split people up. Bulldog and Croco, though, in the pit.
Watch 1xN. He's trying to position for a bullet time out of vision. That bullet time will shred. Remember, the Infernal Soul is onto it, and look at Sheer's damage onto Heru. Half the HP gone already.
The thing, Elder, I think we can Sheer on the flank angle again. That's the hope, but it's on the best target. I don't think it is. The bullet time, not fantastic, but it's zoning TT off, which means they do get the kill on the Feather. Keshi lucky, but I don't know with all their healing. It's going to matter. Flash away for the needlework. The Elder is taken by the side of Croco. The bullet time forces everyone out of the river, and the re-entrance, the re-engage from TT is to panic, to split, and they can't make it happen. A triple kill to Sheer will seal the deal on this game.
TT will bid farewell to them for split 1. They will be in Group Nirvana next split, and LNG keep their hopes alive of going right the way from the bottom group up into playoffs. 3-0 for LNG.
It was on the whole convincing. They managed to make it the 3-0. The laning dominance was strong. The players we thought would be strong were. However, it wasn't without its question marks. What was happening in those mid-games, in games 2 and 3, where certain members getting caught out, a little bit isolated, a little bit disrespectful of that kind of collapse that could come through from Thunder Talk, who drafted for that, don't get me wrong, cost them a couple Barons where really it should never have happened.
So LNG walk away the expected winners. A couple of scruples there. I think the big learning that I have is that Croco is still quite a worry when he's behind the game. That's something which we've always known about him. And that missing can get caught out around some important areas of the map in mid-game, particularly around that Baron and some of the Dragon spawns. That is a worry. Better teams will not let them survive through that, so worries about that. However, as you were saying, I think 1xN player we expected to absolutely stomp, absolutely did. Wonderful game from him. And Sam, I'm so sad to report, I kind of forgot which death we ended up with on Ryan. He ended up with 5 deaths at the end of it, because he started on Meganium. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got to count which one he's on now, Sam.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Somewhere, I think, into the Feraligator line. Totodile line, I suppose, is the correct way of putting that.
It's Totodile now.
There we go.
Yeah, it's Totodile, I believe. Yeah. Okay, so that's our first series done. Next series, OMG versus EDG. EDG coming in as heavy favorites.
Yeah, I think that is fair. LNG will move on to face one of either Invictus Gaming or who else lost in the upper bracket? WE. Both of which I think should be quite interesting matchups.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure how that's seeded. I don't know whether it's choice. I think it depends on lowest remaining seed.
Yes.
And I think because so basically if OMG win, I believe OMG will face Invictus Gaming because they're the highest remaining seed. So basically, funnily enough, folks, I actually think this might work out in favor of LNG. I think IG are worse than WE.
I agree.
But IG are the highest seed. So basically, if EDG win, it'll be EDG WE, and then it will be LNG IG.
And I think IG could be in trouble.
Sam, we might see 1xN Photic.
And I think Photic could get blasted there. And again, but the thing is,
that could be
I will also note there will be
thanks for the cheer.
There will be something to note in terms of how do I put this? We've not seen LNG against the Group Ascent team yet. And I know that IG were very mercurial, but it's not like they didn't have game wins or series wins up in that upper group. You still got to be afraid of people like Rookie getting ahead of the curve. Way is no slouch or rookie to this kind of pressure scenario. I worry about Sobero. I think Sheer on the whole has been laning incredibly well. Outlaned Keshi multiple times, particularly in the early stages, even if again we saw Keshi come back in later on in the game. And I think 1xN and Missing, for all we sort of saw some issues with Missing getting caught out and the team perhaps not defending him properly later on, around those kind of Baron spawn timers, Missing on those flanks, getting punished, and then lots of things kind of going wrong, all that kind of jazz. If you are looking at a game where Sobero's getting dismantled, Photic is behind and not having a good time in drafts, like we've seen this already. What happens when Rookie is desperately trying to make plays happen and the rest of the team has not given him a platform to do it? I still remember Assume on that Draven making Rookie's life hell, and he was trying real hard on that LeBlanc in that one. Here's that 3-0. We'll have a look at the graph there. Yep, as expected. Good damage from Sheer and from 1xN, who hit some rather large ultimates.
one extent, just kind of control the game beginning to end. I think there was, yeah, I think we confirmed what we already knew. I think LNG haven't changed that much as a team. They have powerful individual players, very snowbally. However, Croco and Missing can sometimes lose the plot of the game and be a bit of a, I'm not going to say a lost condition, but it can let teams back into it when it should have been a closer. You know, when we were talking about NIP the other day, talking about, well, you know, you get like one mistake a game, blah, blah, blah. Now, luckily, LNG aren't playing those kind of competitions which only give you one loss in the game, really, or like one mistake. However, those kind of mistakes will punish you eventually. They will do. It just depends which team it will be against, you know?
Yeah. Yep. That is pretty scary, it has to be said. Here are the highlights on this one as well, because again, this is like one of those moments where LNG do try and push the trigger, and part of it as well is, I do think that effectively in this game, Missing was the only true go button, because Bulldog wasn't really willing to be first alter on the Yone. And generally speaking on Yone, you don't want to go with your ult first. It's very easy to dodge. I remember Xiaohu talking about one of his learning curves on Yone when he was really mercurial and would say, look, I just have to learn not to go first with the Yone ult because it's too inconsistent. So you had basically the Rel going in and then a Trundle that was there as a denial pick in the draft that still didn't have the most fun in a tankless game where you're supposed to be frontline.
So we're done with our first series now, and I guess we get to chill a little bit, wait until our second series, and see if EDG can finish off OMG in similar fashion. OMG, of course, looking as they're very much coming in as underdogs. It should be an EDG favorite series, folks. OMG EDG is a hell of an old matchup. It's just one which we haven't really had to talk about for a very long time, because OMG haven't really been as relevant for a long time, sadly. Hey, Katari, good to see you. Yeah, you did get in here in time for the end of what was still quite a dominant series from TT. Not TT, the other one. LNG. Okay, I guess we'll get a post-game interview at some point. Is that coming up now? Cool. We'll leave the audio on for that then.
那我们的赛后采访完结，首先恭喜苏州 LNG 获得了本场比赛的胜利。我们请到了打野选手 Krakow 进行我们赛后采访。
You all sound like professional broadcasters. I'm gonna hold your hand when you say this. Sam and I are actually professional casters. No, I appreciate the comment. I know where it's coming from. Appreciate it. Yes, but that is actually our job being broadcasters.
3-0也是拿下了对手，成功的拿下了这个大场的胜利。第一个问题想问，其实第二把的比赛还是有些许焦灼的，前中期是一个劣势，但是29分钟内夺大龙得到团，成功打出一个5-5开的团，也就是 Krakow 用猴子假身反向逃跑的那一波。想问问当时队内的一个沟通是怎么样，然后 Krakow 是怎么突然想到反向逃跑？
29분 때 용 치고 나서 저희가 초중반에 유리했던 거 좀 기복이 있었는데 29분에 용 치고 그리고 50 W 반대로 쏘아서 도망친 거 그때 어떻게 생각했는지 그런 거요. 그 용 주고? 그 용 주고 한타가 사실 이겨야 되는 한타라고 생각하긴 하는데
Nymaera, I don't know who you are or where you came from, but you better watch your back, because I'll find you, I'll give you a hug. Thanks for the stuff, no worries. Not sure who hit you with that. I think it might have been, you might have been hit by the 100 gift bomb. My name's Nymaera, also known as Alex. I cast League of Legends for a living. So we cast Chinese League of Legends here.
And yeah, so if you like League of Legends or just hanging out in the, I guess, early hours of the morning in European time zone, stick around, see if you enjoy some cool League of Legends action.
那紧接着到下一波团战，拿到优势，发现有一争之力之后，你们在小龙的那波团战，我觉得指挥非常的干净利落。Krakow 在 run 龙，其他队友在做包夹，所以既拿了龙，又打赢了小规模的团战。像那种时候的这个指挥的沟通啊，基本上是谁做的会多一点？
그리고 크로커 선수가 혼자서 용치고 있고 나머지 4명이 팀원이 좀 상대 팀을 에둘러오는 그런 플레이를 했는데 그런 콜이 누구한테서 나오고 오더를 누가 했는지
일단 미드 친구랑 같이 얘기해가지고 그냥 용 저 혼자 쓸 테니까 이제 좀 나오는 거 막아달라 그런 식으로 얘기를 미리 했고요. 그래서 좋게 플레이 나온 것 같습니다.
那会儿是跟中单选手沟通了一下，我自己打龙，你帮忙去绕一下、包一下他们，然后有了那些操作。
明白，也就是 Krakow 和中单选手呢，也都做了一个很好的良性沟通了。那这个时候就递着这个问题，我们来到第3把当中啊。第3把其实我记忆也非常深刻的是后续的一波 RA 龙的决策，成功的在灯下黑的情况下拿掉了大龙。那个时候也是你和有人在做一个配合，所以也想问，包括这个 RA 大龙的决策，同样是跟中单选手做的一个配合吗？
세 번째 경기에서 마찬가지로 바로 2명이서 이거 스틸했잖아요. 그거 그래서 미드 선수랑 이렇게 소통해서 한 건가요?
세 번째 판 같은 경우도 네, 미드 선수랑 같이 소통해가지고 그렇게 먹었습니다.
也是跟中单选手一起沟通过后，有了那种决策。
也是一个非常立竿见影的决策，包括能够对当下的局势做一个非常棒的一个判断。那问一个队友之间的啊，就当时在第3把当中，我觉得中路有波团战非常精彩的是我们队长 Missing 闪现的一个 Q 闪，成功的定住对方开住了团战，同时呢后面又残血去勾引对方2人进场，还秀了对面一波。有没有印象当时的队内沟通是什么样的？
미드에서 미싱 선수가 풀큐로 상대 탈리아 자르고 그리고 크로코 선수가 딸피로 상대 이거 잡았는데 그때 어땠는지 그런 플레이가
일단 미싱 선수가 적극적으로 좀 그런 이니시 각을 잘 봐줘서 게임적으로 이득 많이 보고 좀 잘 굴린 것 같습니다.
就明星选手开团的那种进场时机、开团时机非常的好，所以这波团战就打得很舒服。
也是夸奖了一下队长啊，对这个敏锐时机的一个把握。当然了，我觉得队友的反应也很迅速，才能一起打赢那波团战。最后一个问题了，那今天拿下了这场比赛胜利，我们知道明天还有一场比赛嘛？那对下一场比赛有什么样的一个期望或者说目标吗？
내일 경기에 대해서 어떤 기대나 있는지?
일단 오늘 이제 저희 뒷경기에 따라서 저희 상대가 정해지니까 뭔가 잘 끝내고 돌아가서 좀 회의도 하고 열심히 준비해봐야 될 것 같습니다.
我们得等下一场比赛结束之后才知道我们的对手是谁嘛。然后回到基地之后，我们会好好会议，好好准备去打下一场。
好好准备，也肯定希望在下一场比赛当中还能够获得胜利，来到我们的淘汰赛啊！那也希望 Krakow， 也希望苏州 LNG 在接下来比赛当中能有一个好的发挥。感谢进行我们的赛后采访。那接下来呢，就把时间交还给我们的解说席。
Okay, let me put on some ads real quick, and then I guess we'll do some words on stream, eh? Why not? Let's keep going. Oh, I just put ads on, just whatever. I mean, there's a lot of people with subs now. So how many subs are we up to? Now we've got a sub bomb from Mech the other season. That is okay. That's a hell of a lot of subs, is what that is actually. 477. That's ridiculous, folks. Banner by Blood, by the way. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. And Katari, thanks for the stream streak as well. 30, building it back up again. Nice. Oh poo! I need to stop this. Oopsies. 1xN gets himself the player of the game. He was really, really good. He kind of destroyed everyone. That's a lot of stats. Okay, I'm gonna chuck stuff back up here again. I'm sorry. My bad. Keep that down there. Yeah, no surprise. Player of the series, probably 1xN again, right? I think he was player of the series. Oh man, just one more day of this double best of 5. Do we have double best of 5s? Do we have double best of 5s for the second round, for the first round of playoffs as well, maybe?
Yeah, we probably do. Oh, God. Yeah. So, basically, folks, there's going to be... And Player of the Series to one extent as well. Move that off there real quick. Sounds like a disco track, though. Damn! 31% damage share across the whole series? That's pretty damn good, actually. L is fake, right? Good to know. Oh, okay. One more series. And then I nap for a bit, and then I go do Summoning Insight later tonight. Because I have Summoning Insight later tonight as well. These like 3 days are going to be a bit hellish. And then, basically, we're not going to have LPL for a little while. I'm also going to visit Angie for, like, Valentine's Day and stuff. So I'm going to be away for a couple of days. I will be streaming bits and pieces. In fact, what am I going to do? I mean, I could do some, like... I could do a VOD review or two. Or just do some, like... casual league content. I also want to start playing Hades 2 at some point. That might be something I do. Hope we have a proper time to get some proper rest. That would be the goal. Yeah. I think A is not fake. Boss. Yeah, boss should work, shouldn't it? How is boss not working now? Wait, boss doesn't work. Huh, weird. That should work. That's so weird. I guess F is fake. There are actually, this is actually just like a very flawed. I actually just think, by the way, like this round is actually just flawed because there are actually words in there which they're just not counting. That's kind of crazy, actually. You know what I've been watching recently, folks? I've been watching oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. No, I just minimized the window. Normally when you minimize it, it just disappears from the screen. My bad. Normally if you minimize it, it disappears from the screen. But watch if I do. So if what did I do there then? I don't know what happened. Yeah, I am the noob. Clearly I'm the streaming noob. My bad. Anyway, so I'll tell you what I've been doing recently, because I've been watching a show with Angie, which is just about camping. And it's just a slice of life about camping. And have I been camping? No, not for years. Probably last time I went was in like secondary school or something. So I haven't done camping in literally years. It's called Solo Camping for Two. I think that's what it's called. And it's legit very cute. And I have to say, yeah. Okay, I think I might go for a quick break myself, folks, just for a little bit. Just because I gotta conserve energy and stuff, or I might just turn camera for a bit.
And we go again. Good job, Perfect Goose. Can EDG 3-0? I would expect an EDG 3-0, yes. Now, the problem is, EDG have occasionally had flaws around... Well, no, they've had problems around late game objectives. They've looked better recently. But yeah.
How are we doing?
I'm not gonna lie, Sam. I'm starting to flag already.
I'm not doing great. I have to admit, my voice is.
Well, do you wanna say?
I will go for at least a couple games. If we go to like 5, I may. Well, no,
I also have Summoning Insight later, so like
yeah.
I mean, like honestly, in some ways I don't mind solo casting. So it means I get to keep volume down basically, so I get close to the mic or whatever. But it's also just like I need to yap more. So it's kind of like it's a different kind of. In some ways that's worse because then it takes brain energy. So you need really yap. I don't actually know what I. Okay, no, that's just because I've done this. But I'm trying. Like, I can just like butt out completely here if you'd like.
No, it's
but
just
then you need to move the mic.
Yeah, it's just because I don't. Basically, part of the issue is if I'm sitting like.
So
at
if you're
this
gonna do that,
angle,
that's okay.
That really
so,
twists
well,
the
so
line
if you
down
want like
here.
all of the leg room, you can do that. But then we need to bring the mic over.
Yeah, that's fine. I just basically I just need to get my knee like that. That's fine. I just don't want to have my
Okay.
chair fully twisted around. That's all I
Yeah,
really
sure.
need.
I'm gonna go for the. Please get rid of the middle thing. I want to see the gameplay.
We don't have any gameplay.
What? There's no
Gameplay?
gameplay. There's no gameplay. What do you mean? Get rid of the.
What?
Just like get rid of the middle thing. I want to see gameplay. There is
There's
no
no
gameplay. We do this so there's something for you to do in the break. Okay, I'm gonna go for a quick break myself now.
Go
actually.
for it.
Yeah. Sorry. That really. Okay, you did say please. I just find that quite funny. I know you don't mean it. I guess you meant the replays, right? But I'm also like that just quite funny to me. Okay. We're up to like 470 subs now, by the way.
That's quite cool. Angular. Jaguar? There's a fake letter as well. Oh. I'm actually really bad at games like this. My ADHD doesn't quite allow me to focus and I struggle to be systematic with this. Radula. Well, there goes Edward Gaming. Turning up on screen here as well. ZDZ, Xiaohao, Angel, Leave, and Palkia. Took a little while for them to come online, all things said and done. I still think Leave is pretty damn cool, but I look at OMG squad and guys, Rayo's come in, and he has given the team a little bit of a boost because it looked like they're the worst team in the league, and Rayo's helped, but I still think this is going to be a horrific experience for the side of OMG. The safety net of EDG, I completely agree. Leave has been rather good in that regards. Doesn't die very much at all. Not bad going, guys. Oh, yeah, adds 1 second. That needs to go. There we are. I think at this point... Well done, guys. Well done, well done, well done. I will minimize this because we are kind of edging our ways towards heading into game and having a look at some of these cool stats before the game. I think that's probably quite important. IG versus LNG could be very entertaining. We might end up there. Levy, Starry, yep, those are some unfortunate numbers in favor of Leave, I think. At the very least, Starry's doing good damage per gold. and he's doing a decent amount of damage per minute. But again, it's just not getting the same amount of gold. He is not necessarily getting as many kills as you'd like. Part of that will be support from the team, but I just think in general, we are seeing Leave get a lot more bang for his buck, even if Starry, I think, has actually had some pretty good moments here and there. Things like the Ashe have been really good for him. Nice to see things like the Nymaera as well be quite successful, even if things like the MF and the Aphelios have been a little bit more mixed. Leave, a lot of time on the Nymaera, a lot of time on the Kai'Sa. And again, look at things like the Jinx and the Sivir in there as well. But yes, the undefeated Kai'Sa remains pretty damn scary this year. I know it says 3 games. Under my picture it says 0 and 3 5. If I do this, you can see. Too slow. Sorry, I should have been faster about turning that off, but there we go. That's my bad. Bounded by Blood. What a name, by the way. Thank you for that follow. And thank you for the follow as well. Corporate employee. Welcome to the firm, my friend. EDG 3-1. A lot of people are saying 3-1. I think it's just 3-0, personally. I think people are being far too kind to OMG here. The Nim firm, yeah. The House of Hapgood. Yeah, I kind of agree. Thunder Talk have been really strong. Really strong. Really struggled, right? We have got an interview here, actually, so I might just pause the music briefly and go listen in. Hang on, here we go.
3到 BO5 的调整以及应对到不同组别的对手，这样。
我觉得我们最多的准备是对 BP 上的一些应对吧。
好，期待你们在赛场上给我们带来一些不一样的英雄。那第二个问题想问到的是，今天对阵